Welcome to WooTube! My name's Baram Woo, and today we're gonna be doing some tier lists because it's that time of year. Oh yeah, there's new cards, and I've got opinions on them. I've not played them, but I've got opinions, and I'm going to be joined by some other people who have opinions, and hopefully I'm going to ring them now, and this is going to work like first time, smooth as silk. But we shall see. Let's. Oh no, I need to. No. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, smooth as silk. Oh yeah. Okay. So joining me in the net space, we have my two compadres. Who you'll recognise them from last year's tier list. But you might just recognize them because they make themselves pretty well known in the Netrunner space. At least one of them's really good at Netrunner, maybe both of them, who knows. We have Axu and Augustus, and as Augustus I guess comes first in the alphabet, Augustus, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, hello, I'm Augustus. Me and Axu are really fighting over first place on the alphabet real hard.
I genuinely had to think about, like, I was just like, Anna's first in the... I had to do some quick mental arithmetic there.
I'm sure a Netrunner player, proud tiebreaker and proud maker of tier lists.
Marvelous stuff. Axu, would you like to introduce yourself?
Bad player in the caller. I'm so ready, but you misordered this. I'm just here to fight. I don't care about good players or anything.
Okay, well, who the hell are you so that people know?
The content creator extraordinaire, you know. I basically run tournaments and commentate some online stuff, online things.
Yeah, when you're not too busy shitposting.
I would never.
Never. So today we're going to be going through the runner cards. I can't remember how long it took us to do the last tier list, but I can't work out if this is more or less cards than last time. Oh, apparently, Axie, you're actually a little bit quiet in the mix. So as much as I told you to turn yourself down, could you turn yourself back up a bit? We've already got some hot takes coming in via chat. Alco, S tier or Riot. I mean, you're not even going to find that out tonight, Antoine. You're going to have to tune into. I guess we're doing the corp side on your channel, Axu, but we just haven't decided when.
I guess so.
Yeah. So yeah. Have a fun in chat, Alex. Welcome. Counting on Axu to make sure Baz gets some respect on his name. I mean, he's coming up a third of the way through. Let's see what happens. And Meteor, always great to have you in chat. Real pleasure meeting you in person in Reading. So we can probably jump straight in. I mean, I've just gone for simple like S tier through to D tier. S tier, aka the spree tier, because we all know that that's an S tier card. If anyone wants proof of this, then I can send you a replay and you can find out. What this card does. But
if anyone wants to be inducted into the cult of spree, we can work that out.
Yeah,
I'm certainly a participant of it myself.
I mean, I think it's probably the sleeper card of the last set, which really just saw no play, and then everyone go, hey, you know, this is kind of bonkers.
Yeah, then it like won Worlds.
Yeah, exactly. I guess like winning Worlds kind of gets it there. And like maybe it was only really good out of Arasana, but I kind of wonder whether we've got a console in this set which might make it like also playable, but we can maybe talk about that when we get to it. Oh no, that's too big now. Okay.
I tried really hard to build Spree Essa. It did not go well, but I tried.
I can see. I think Spree Essa is easier now because Chromatus Falls, we'll talk about again, is slightly better than Egret, and importantly, just enough better than Egret that it might be workable. But yeah, right.
You cannot
Obvious.
give the card away yet.
Sorry.
You cannot give the takes away yet.
No. I'm trying to withhold as many takes as possible, but we'll see. I should preface this by saying that I've played about 7 games of Netrunner since the cards have been leaked, and have pretty much exclusively played Arasana and a little bit of Fu. So these takes are going to be straight from the hip. Obviously, we were 100% accurate with all of our takes last time. Come at us if you think that that's a lie. And we can probably go straight in. Yeah. How long before we do the new tier list to correct all our things? Like 1 month? Maybe 2.
Like half a year, surely.
Yeah, a bit. Let them cook a bit.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think we can jump in here with, hopefully, if I do this. Nope, that really didn't work. This, hey, we have our first card from the set, so we're going straight in. We're going to do this in set order, so just by card order. And the first one, we're going straight in with a pretty interesting one. We've got Ryu, Phoenix, Ono, something along those lines. This is where I realise that I haven't done any work on working out how anything is pronounced, and I'll blame that all on Ginevra for not releasing the guide yet, or something like that.
Never our fault if we mispronounce things.
That's no actual shade on Ginevra. She does an incredible job putting together these pronunciation guides each year. So Gmod, not that that's relevant anymore. 17 influence, and we have a kind of semi-sabotagey hand disruption ID. Axu.
Gmod might actually be relevant for Eternal now that I think about it. That's fine.
Oh, 100%. I think both of these are. Axu, what's your immediate thoughts on Ryu on Phoenix?
I mean, they finally got it correct on giving 17 influence to actually bad idea, you know? Like, so often we have gotten 17 influence on, like, the goats, but finally that card has been broken because this idea is not doing anything.
Ooh, strong words. Yeah, I mean, 17 influence has previously, we've seen it on Titan, who definitely didn't need it, and on NEH.
There is hub, like everything.
Yeah, like, just busted. I guess like Ken deserved 17 influence. I feel like he kind of needed it.
Yeah, I'm overreaching here, but like for real, you have to do so much. And what are you getting? You get like one card that opponent can choose. Like no shot. It's like the bunker ID, and then you have to play bunker, and then you can play any other ID and get more work done.
Okay.
I was more down on this card before I played it. Like if we made a tier list before any games could have been played, this would have gone into like D tier easy. It's like more okay than that because like even like there might be certain situations where you're happier with this trade-off compared to being Hoshiko, but in general, he does seem a bit clunky.
So what situation?
Opponents trying to assemble a combo mostly.
So
repair deck's not really.
Yeah, I kind of somewhat agree with Augustus here, based on the fact that I was unsure. I was maybe slightly higher on Phoenix than some of the people were when it was first released, because I think that hand disruption is fun, however you slice it. Then playing against Ion Fox yesterday, who was on Phoenix with Detente and some other things going on, I kind of found that I just decided to never res ice. Now I was playing a sort of quite asset heavy list, but I was still playing some ice, and it made the ice like worse than redundant. Like, as in, if I resist ice, it's bad for me. So I kind of think it's interesting. I think there is actually some power here. Whether it's like, you know, gonna win a bunch of tournaments, I don't think so. But I found it more oppressive than I thought it was going to be.
How low are you on it, Axu? Would you put it F tier or?
No, not F tier. It's like B tier or something. Like, it's really fun and it's interesting and cool. It's just not good. That's the issue. You just have to jump through hoops for an effect that's not like the best.
I mean, do you have to? You see, I disagree with you. You don't have to jump through that many hoops.
Like, play bunker and then you can't like have to get the successful rush and shit. I don't know.
And you don't like. Yes, it's better with banker, but there's plenty of ice which has a sub that you can
with
fire.
Bunker. Like, you would want to like let the opponents get everything for free.
Yeah, the fact that it doesn't need a successful run is really bad. Like,
yeah, if it was like any run, it would be sick. But like successful runs, it's kind of bad.
Like, I don't know how much corps are going to be doing it in early times, but if Phoenix ever becomes a thing that people play, it's like very easy to adjust your corp game plans on ice to make him bad. So like that kind of limits him. I'm fine putting him in B tier because he has 17 influence. If he didn't, it would be lower. But influence is nice.
Okay, well let's stick him in B tier, and we can always like move things around. But yeah, Meteor calling out things like Silandra. I mean, I think there's like, even before you get your Bankar down, there's some things where, you know, you can stick a Botulus on a piece of ice, fire the end of run sub, let the, I don't know, gain 2 credits sub fire, and start doing some stuff. But there we go. Okay, what are we making of? Oh, this is no, that didn't work again. Okay, it's these buttons. There we go. What are we making of Topan? So Topan, a natural identity that says once a turn you take a damage to install something, gaining 1, paying 2 less. Are we liking Topan? Augustus, what's your thoughts?
They seem more generically powerful than Rio for sure. It's not clear that they're better than Hoshiko, but they're like, it's enough value that it's pretty comparable to Hoshiko. I think Anarchs aren't eating very well in this set, to be honest, but Topan is among the better Anarch cards.
It's also like you lost moshing, so you kind of run out of ways to actually feed your steel skins and strike fans and stuff. So getting an extra sort of damage is not too big an issue. And installing cards for 2 less is kind of hype.
Yeah.
Topan does suffer with like companions being as good as they are, I guess, because they really don't play well with companions. They don't install them well, and if you're installing things with companions, you don't care about the Topan discount. But they do other stuff, like that. Their economy is enough. Anarch might need some better draw cards before Topan is really, really good.
Yeah, I think it's draw issues for sure. Like, you don't want to be importing like every single draw card out of faction. Just be able to play Topan basically when Hoshiko basically draws for free.
I feel like Topan is a kind of, they've arrived just too late, because I think they would have loved being in a meta that had things like daily casts and liberated accounts and you know, like Earthrise Hotel. Like, these are all cards which are really good in Topan, and they all don't exist anymore. And I don't know if
really have these installables anymore.
Yeah, it's like, what are you playing? Like, friend of a friend? Like, you know, like
the new bad card that gains 9 credits, you know.
Yeah, I guess, like, That's what, like, plus, so 3 clicks for 9 credits. That's okay, but it's your whole turn, isn't it? It's like not the greatest.
It is. I called it bad for a reason.
Yeah.
But we'll get to it.
I mean, I guess you install a Julie. Is it Julie or Debit? Which one is it? Julie. You could install a Julie for free, and then you could install your 2 credit one, and it would only cost you 2 clicks to get 6 credits. And I don't know.
We play Smartware plus Bling, the infamous combo.
Yeah, it's all that.
I was ready to maybe give it slightly better rating than Rio, but then we did all this talking, and I'm not on it. I think it's just a big tier also.
I think it's B. Like after Hoshiko goes, and I get like one more draw card, they might be really hype. But Hoshiko is never leaving us, so we have to wait.
Axel will make sure that they reprint Hoshiko before she's scheduled to rotate.
Yeah, it's kind of being the next system core.
System core Hoshiko 2.0. Yeah, I think I agree. Like, I don't think that you can put anything that has a 2 credit a turn thing in C tier, as long as you can do something with it, and you can do something with Topan, but they're definitely not A tier. Like, just doesn't feel good.
I mean, are you putting Ian Sterling in B tier also?
Okay, that's a fair point.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, but
fact check.
I'm not, because he's only got 10 influence sorted. Won that one. Okay, we have our first Anarch event. So this is Charm Offensive. It's a 0 cost event, which is a run. You run archives. When a run ends, you may trash 1 res card you accessed in archives during this run. Now, this is essentially, as many people have pointed out, a sort of side print of oh gosh, I'd had it in my head a second ago. But a card which I used to play. It used to be really good against Ag Infusion.
You used to play.
Yeah, of course. Immolation script. There we go. But it is slightly better. And Jeff, that's a great question. Whether you should stay and argue or keep clear for your own hot takes. I think you should let yourself be completely swayed by us, and then go on a aggressive, like anti, like just completely opposite to us when you put all of your takes in. So this is better than Immolation Script because, firstly, this is any card, which is actually pretty relevant.
It's also less influence.
Yeah. You could technically.
You're seriously looking at the influence pips on this?
No.
Okay.
You could play it in you might play it in
No, you can't,
yeah, you play it in Criminal, like, sorted.
Why? You have already Pinhole in Faction. You don't need this shit.
Yeah, but for dealing with ice, maybe Mercury plays it or something. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know how Mercury gets the ice in the bin in the first place. So don't kind of get me.
From the opponent discarding it because they're not expecting this shit.
Yeah. So there was I know XDG in a chat recently said it kind of made the mental load of the corp a bit higher, because if you've seen a Charm Offensive and you're worried that there's more, then you're kind of you're sometimes a bit careful about what ice you're discarding into archives. Do we think that's enough, along with the potential actual is this going to see play, is the big question, I think.
I mean, yeah, you play Ice Destruction, go trash their like Bran, then you run Archives, Charm Offensive, the other Bran, and you're like popping off super hard.
Yeah.
The improvements over Immolation Script that it hits assets was really relevant in a match the game that I played, where like paying 0 to trash a wage workers, it's pretty huge.
Yeah.
But given all that, still, like,
huh? Like you play Ice Destruction, and this shit goes straight in there.
Well, the problem is that I don't know that ice destruction is very good.
No,
Feels like
you just figure it out for sure. Like you're one card off or something. Like you just get Almakua back and we cook.
if only. I would agree with you, yeah. But then if you're playing Amakua, then they defend archives, and this is I'm not sure. This is not unplayable for sure. Maybe all of Anarch just goes in B tier because Anarch's kind of bad.
No. B
thoughts?
tier it is A tier for sure.
Ooh.
That's a crazy take.
You think this is A tier? Like that? I think that is hot.
No, it will be broken at some point. That's the thing.
I don't know. I think this is definitely, it's clearly better than Immolation Script, because apart from anything, if you end up playing against an asset spam matchup, this isn't completely dead, right? But this isn't an A tier card. Like this is too.
Yeah, like Alex said in the chat, like you play this in ESA, you like opponent sabotages like their eyes, and then you go and trash that shit also.
Yeah,
I think it's really good. I played this in a couple decks, and its most common use was like getting trashed by net damage from Topan rather than actually doing anything.
Yeah,
which is not
also can do that. It's like hijack Trotter.
Okay. What? Which is an A tier card? Just because you played it at a tournament.
I was maybe leaning towards C even.
C? No shot. Like, come on.
Wow. So I might have to like be the voice of reason and put it somewhere in the middle. I think like I possibly would say it's somewhere between C and B, so we could like stick it in B tier for now, but
put it on in front of Phoenix and we're good.
We're not ordering these tiers. We got
not,
into that.
We got into it will be better in front.
Right, interesting. Yeah, we're like 20 minutes, 10 minutes in or something, and we've got scorching hot takes coming from all sides. Alex is saying B at least or it's over. Jeff is coming in hot with a D tier, so I want to see Jeff versus Axu.
Okay, this is like the tributary tier take. You know, I will not stop cloning on the same.
So just for purposes of thing, Augustus definitely had it down here, and Axu definitely had it up here. So we'll see where we end up with this one in a few months' time. Okay, next, a card I got to spoil. I think this is an interesting one. It's Scrounge. It's only a 1 cost, 1 influence double event, which lets you get a program. It's 2 program recursion, 1 to install and 1 to the bottom of your stack, Augustus's favorite place to put anything which has been recurred.
It's very interesting to me that they added that line of flavor text in there, but it's optional, so you can just not ignore the flavor text, and that's fine.
So Augustus believes that you may add 1 program from your heap to the bottom of your stack is additional flavor text for anyone who's missing a joke. Yeah. I think this is quite good. Like, the problem is it's quite slow, so it really depends on whether you're playing it in a deck which like can afford to like, you know, just can afford to have some slow recursion, or just needs like a single pip of influence to shore itself up, like in Criminal, for instance, where you might not want to kind of, you know, you don't generally have any recursion, but having a single one of these to get back your things like copulation and stuff is quite good. The fact that it's a double obviously is its balancing method. But I think this is decent. I think playing 1 for getting technically 2 programs back is pretty damn good. It's not labor rights, but it's the closest we're going to get for the time being.
I mean, yeah, I think completely fair as a card, which is the issue. Like, you're getting a double for a program that you're getting back. It's not like just doing enough for you. Like, I think you probably play it in like mulch or something to recur something, but like other than that, I just don't see it.
Yeah, card basically depends on how good Botulus is in the meta. Like, this Botulus is basically the only target for this. trying to get Fermenter back that's like really slow.
I mean, like compilation or like something like that.
Yeah, I think compilation. I think Fermenter's still good, especially if you've got like Cookbook, which you probably does mean that you're playing mulch, but or similar. But right now, I think that Fermenter stocks have gone up based on the kind of state of run at Econ. So being able to get a Fermenter back now and potentially one back for like the later game when it's not so great at that point. But...
Yeah. Classic turn 20 install.
August, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, definitely not putting Fermenters to the bottom of your deck. That is a losing play.
Yeah, that's fair. But maybe you put a Botulus to, if you're playing 3 Botulus, you might put a Botulus to the bottom of your deck. Also, if you're if you're like Shaper, then the fact that you've put a program to the bottom of your heap bottom of your stack is not an issue. Like you're just going to muse it out, you're going to SMC it out. It doesn't really matter where it is in your stack. So I think it gets additional value in Shaper, or if you're playing some kind of program searching in other factions.
Yeah. For what it's worth, this is like top 2 NR cards of the set. The NR cards were not very good in the set.
No.
Like I maybe this is an A tier card, but probably just B like everything else.
It's like B at max.
Yeah, we're gonna be like lining up this B tier. We're like super mid in this set so far.
NR only.
Yeah, it might be like it just doesn't feel like it fits in an A. It's not gonna like it's not A tier because it's not gonna be winning games, is it? It's like you could probably take this out and replace it with something else, and it's gonna be fine, realistically.
Just rename B tier to Anarch tier, and then boom, we got it fixed.
Okay. If I can move this. I can't drag anything anymore. What's going on? Oh, that's the problem. Oh, I can drag Bling. I can drag Shred. Oh, there we go. Okay. Right. Okay. This is going to be an interesting one. That's the wrong card. Well, no. Okay, so we need to do Shred next. Shred. So this is the card which was spoiled as a card which would be able to deal with Skunk Void in startup.
No, that was Charm Offensive.
It might be playable in startup, but that's about all you can say for the card.
The card that they said that there will be a card that will trash cards without accessing them, and that's Charm Offensive.
Interesting. I thought that this
this does deal with Skunk Void though, like for sure.
Yeah. And surely that's
the only thing this deals with.
Yes. Kind of. Like there's so my big thing with Shred is like if you're playing this, why the hell are you playing this and not Light the Fire? And the only reason okay, so the 2 reasons are A, the art is cool, and B, you can technically make a run on an early piece of ice and maybe like cause a tiny bit of like hand disruption. That's the only time I see this being played over Light the Fire. Otherwise, why are we playing this over Light the Fire? Right?
Well, the only time you're playing this over Light the Fire is if you've like lied to yourself about this being good somehow. This can just go D tier. We can never see.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Anyone in chat got any like reason that we need to not put this in? I mean, how low are we going? Is this just D tier?
It's D tier insta.
Insta D tier. Yeah, also, obviously also Pinhole. So, it has possibly some startup like reason to play it. Fine. And it's only 1 influence, but in standard, I just don't see this finding space.
Yeah, especially after Light the Fire's biggest predator border control got rotated out.
Yeah. Like now you've got.
I guess if it's like a Leo Skunk Void deck that's coming out, you could take this into there.
Yeah, I mean that's a really specific. Like that's it. It's like it's good in that one matchup, and people have said like I remember when this came out, and like lots of people were like, see you later, clown car servers, and it's like, well, only if your clown car server has a skunk like a void in it. Like most clown car servers are actually a bunch of sort of, I don't know, like upgrades which do damage or give you tags or stuff like that. They're not necessarily trying to end a run. So like I don't actually think this helps with clown car servers apart from specifically skunk
you have
ones.
to still pay your managram trace because like you cannot let multiple entrants fire. The card is just cringe. We can probably move on.
Lovely. Shred gets shredded. Let's look at something shinier. This one, I have seen the widest split of opinion on how good this card is. Jeff saying you play this because you're playing Gateway and Elevation Sealed. Yeah, that's fair. And Antoine saying you play it over Light the Fire because it's an event and it fits in Anicam Anarch better. Right, that's our reasons. That's okay, good enough for me. So Bling, this is a console in Anarch and it's got a lot of cards on it and it kind of draws a card, and some people have said it's absolutely busted and some people have said it's absolutely trash. So, Augustus, have you managed to play with this yet, and what is your take on it so far?
I think it's pretty good. My take for the best Anarch card, but like perverse part of me still wants to put it in B tier. Is like it's good, but it's not that good. I think is where I've come down on it.
Axu, what are you thinking?
Play this Topan, I think, for it to make sense, or you're including like way too many zero-cost installables otherwise, and your deck will be like legit just jank pile.
I mean,
Topan, like it might cook.
I think I think in Topan is good. I really want to try this, and where I think it might be best, and I know that Jai is quite hype on the idea of this being incredibly good in Seb. Now,
I think so.
Whether we've got enough clicks to do stuff in Seb, I don't know, but Seb already kind of likes playing free copies of No Free Lunch. Obviously, he gets all of his triggers off the ID, and is playing a bunch of 2-cost like resources anyway, and could play things like the price and everything else.
Also, the correct sub build didn't have a console until now. So
yeah,
yeah. Like I'm actually putting this in there though.
I think you are.
I think so.
You're already playing like 100 slots.
That is the problem, yes. So that my sub decks end up being 60 cards, which is awkward. But I think this is good enough in them to justify being the best card.
Like you're also potentially on playing stuff like Biobands in Seb. Like Biobands is pretty good, and Biobands can also trigger Bling if you're like installing a 1-coster. I think like
influence from Biobands somehow.
You what?
You
have influence from Biobands somehow.
Yeah.
Probably not. Transfer of wealth is like a really important card. I don't think you have it after getting that. It's possible.
Yeah, but you can play two transfer of wealth and then some like Katorgas to get them back. Be fine.
I don't know what a sub deck looks like, but I know Bling is a part of it, and Bling is probably like A tier realistically.
Like I want to put this quite high because I think someone's going to break it. Like I feel like this is a card which is gonna. It probably won't be immediately. It will be someone cooking away on a Bling build, like in the background for the first few months, and then suddenly they'll turn up to a AMT or a regional or a freaking national tournament with their sick ass like Anarch Bling, or maybe even like a non-Anarch Bling build, and it will just churn out a ridiculous amount of draw and value. And I think that I want to hedge against that being the case, because I think that's more likely than it not doing anything. But I don't know.
Are you giving it S tier or just on potential alone, or?
No.
I'm giving it A tier, and also there's no nationals anymore. It's megacities now.
Sorry. Well, not if you're not if you're in the UK. We're stubborn.
I know, brother.
Okay, so we can like be happy enough putting this in A tier, I think, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Nice. I'm fascinated to see where Jeff and Andre put this, but we'll find out. It's going to be an interesting one. Okay, we've got our little gremlin here, Gourmmont. 0 cross program, 2 influence, which is basically our single use imp. It's got a trash can on it. That's fun. It draws a card when you trash a non-agenda card, which is kind of sad. Actually, what's your thoughts on Gourmmont?
I mean, it's the worst imp. What others do you need to say about it? Like, you play it in loop and stuff like that, and like trash heavy anarchs, and you're like not mad about it. But every other deck will be playing Copulation instead of this. Every single one.
Yeah, if you're on Bling, this Gourmmont is redeemable because it's 0 cost. That's essentially the entirety of this card's value.
Yeah, I mean,
play it in loop, like it's kind of value there.
Yeah, you play. I mean, Lou plays 3 of these. Like, you start with 3 of these, don't you? Like, just like you used to start with 3 imps. I would kind of assume so, but maybe I'm wrong. But
I mean, mostly you start by not playing Lou is the real answer.
Fair.
Hot take. I kind of think that Lou might be like a good choice right now, but we'll see. It depends how the court meta kind of shapes up. I mean, I could actually. Does Shaper play this? No, because Shaper just plays Copulation as well, right?
Yeah,
like
Copulation. Like, Copulation steals this card's lunch money.
So Copulation costs 2 more credits and doesn't draw a card, but does see 3 cards from HQ if you want to use that side of it.
Yeah. Copulation also has like text against a lot of like anti-trash things and like persistent and stuff like that. So you get like a lot of external value outside.
Copulation steals petty cash, which is real.
Yeah. Fair. The one thing you can't do with Copulation is get it back with the back, as Meteor points out. I'm always looking for ways to try and break the back as a recursion card, and maybe this is it. I don't think this is it, but it might be it. It could be it.
If you manage to sneak deck traders onto your deck, I might be a Gourmmont lover, but until then, maybe not.
I mean, that's why I'm missing. Like, do you play 3 of these in Geist?
No, you spend your influence way other places.
Yeah, you have like 9 or 3 other better 0 cost trashables.
Well, yeah, but none of them trash cards. Like, why wouldn't you just play like? You might play this. Like, this deals with.
I mean, I'm definitely playing 1 in Geist. I don't know about
3. Fair. Yeah, I mean the fact that it draws a card as well. Like, I mean, you know, we've talked about Lou, but this is like pretty sick. Like, you install this for nothing in Lou, you run and trash something, you gain a credit, you draw 2 cards. That is quite, that's quite sick. Whether that kind of it feels as good outside of Lou, I don't know. Okay, so it's not as good as Copulation, but Copulation has turned out to be like probably an A or S tier card, and I can't remember where we put it, but we probably didn't put it in A or S tier at the time. So where's this going? Is it just going in Anarch tier?
I have a vote for Anarch tier, yeah.
Yeah, I think Anarch tier is fine.
Boom. There we go. Okay. Hantu. Love the art on this one. Really, really interesting. This is a free cost killer, which is a virus. It has 2 virus counters on it. It can boost pretty efficiently using those virus counters, although technically only to 6. So just pray you're not playing against the Ob card, which I can't remember.
Earlock's only 6, but Tier gets you.
No, but the
Stavka's also annoying.
Stavka, yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Stavka instantly wrecks you without other support. And then it's a 2 strength, which does 1 for 1, which could be boosted with other things. What do we think about Hantu? Obviously, this is the sort of mimic side print, I guess you could call it. Do we think it's good?
I would much rather have Mimic for what it's worth, but we can't have Mimic. So there are decks where you put this in, I suppose, but I don't know that you're never happy to put this in a deck, probably. I gotta say, I do love the art. Like, I wish I could play this more because.
I think you just play Echelon instead of this in like Anarch with Data Sucker and stuff like that.
Do you think you'd play this if there was some way of recharging those virus counters? Because I believe we've lost every possible option for kind of putting virus counters back on stuff other than reinstalling them, right? Unless I'm missing one in the corner of my mind. I think everything's gone.
I mean, in like a mulch deck, if you didn't have Revolver because you wanted influence, you would play this card. Assuming all of the so mulch was playable.
One more card that dies to my virus.
That's true.
Yeah. If you're already like a bit susceptible to a virus, but like that deck kind of always is, right? It's just always going to be a fact of the matter. I guess again, like if you've got a cookbook down, then you probably get a bit more value out of this. I mean, the other thing is like 2 strength sentries are kind of pretty common. I mean, we've seen a few more 3 strength in this kind of rotation, but
it's like Size and Ton and what else?
Serevna, and then you can deal with Tithe, obviously, and maybe you're just putting this in something where everything bigger than the 2 strengthers is going to be dealt with in a different way, botulous or crude, or all of that kind of nonsense.
I've got the perfect icebreaker suite. Play Hantu plus Noon, easy. Working.
Yeah.
And then you encounter a drafter and cry probably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just put Echelon in my deck and I'm happy.
I could see an argument for this being C tier, but it's definitely not higher than that.
Yeah. Can we put it like one higher just because of the way it was scooped?
Oh, it did have the best scoop. Like it did have genuinely the best scoop. But that tier needs to go to AMS, so we can put AMS in A tier, like possibly. Actually, AMS goes into S tier, and then the card itself. Someone quickly make me a card of AMS. Are we going C or D with this? I'm like confused.
I think it's C.
Yeah, it's like borderline. You can play it, so it's probably C tier. Like, it won't make your deck worse by being in it, probably.
But you can play it, but do like you say, like, do you ever play it? Like, Echelon is 1 influence. Like, how can you not find influence for Echelon here?
Because you're playing a format where that doesn't exist or something, or Gateway rotates or something.
Hold up, we can't just make up formats out of nowhere. Then we can just break everything. I think I'm gonna push for this being in D tier for now until unless we see something happen with it. I'm just gonna be like,
you're putting this way into your deck before Shred though.
I think like if you're an ice destruction deck, you can consider this before Echelon, because Echelon is kind of awkward in that.
Okay. Is there any other? Is there any other options at the moment? You play like you can play Noom, you can play Adore. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, when you're competing with those sorts of things.
Yeah, all right, fair. It can go in C tier. That's fine. Let's see here what we got. Yeah, Meteor calling out the Visage Revolver at home. Alex thinks it should be in D tier with Shred. What about Rising Tide? This was a card which got scooped super early, and immediately made everyone assume that Cleaver was going to be banned. I said it definitely wouldn't be banned, and then Cleaver got banned. So that's where my takes lie.
You're lucky you didn't bet any monsters on that one.
Yeah, not that one. I'll save that for like later in this stream, I reckon. Rising Tide, is this good? This is one cost to install, seems pretty good, and is anything between 1 and I don't know 44 strength, depending on how many fractors you put in your deck. Is it good?
This is begrudgingly the second best fractor in the game, but like still a really bad card in a vacuum.
Oh, come on. You have to give Gourmmont some props.
Yeah, Kruger is the best one, and this is the second one.
Propeller, brother?
What? No, Propeller is better than Kurapira.
Brother, huh?
Yeah, sure. Propeller is a weird fractor.
Anarch is currently the faction with the fucking worst fractor in the game. Or worst fractors in the game, which is illegal, I think. Like, deleting the Cleaver before we got to play Cleaver without Buzz Turbine is illegal, in my opinion.
You should probably join NSG and do something about it then, really.
For
you can play Cleaver now.
This is the worst card that will go into your deck, though. So I don't know what that says for a tier system.
Like,
you have to play it.
Like, yeah, it's going into A tier because you just have to play it in Anarch. But like, I don't feel good about it at all. Like, I would take Corroder over this, like every single time.
Really? Like,
where's Corroder, brother?
But only it's one cheaper to install, and for like dealing with like a billion freaking pings and tattoo bowlers and stuff, it's technically a better corroder. You're saving a credit, and then
then you break any single different ice, and you pay one more. And how many Rising Tides are you putting in your deck?
Like 2 or maybe 3.
Yeah, so if you put 2, at best it's the worst corroder. If you put 3, your deck is full of ass breakers, so your deck is going to be bad.
I have seen legendary 6 strength Rising Tides, but
yeah, in Shaper, where this card is actually like probably better than in Anarch.
Okay, but so your ratio is putting 3 Rising Tides in your Anarch deck. What Anarch deck did you not play 3 copies of Paperclip in? Because like I guarantee you put 3 copies of Paperclip in every single one.
No, huh? No.
I was playing 2 in most. Like, this guy is just conning you into putting more copies into that rather than actually being good. Like, I think playing 1 Rising Tide is totally fine and like correct a lot of the time. But
only way I'm happy with Rising Tide is when it's just to turn off the wraparound.
Which doesn't exist
like
anymore.
Marjana Tiara.
That is serious strong words.
It's not
Marjana Tiara. We know.
No, it's not that.
Okay, so like, I mean, on everything that you've both said, this is going in C tier. Are we really?
You still have to play it, and you still have to play it, so it's like B tier at minimum.
Just put every single Anarch card in B tier, easy.
I mean, like, just because you have to play it doesn't make it good. I'm unsure if I agree with that.
Compare it to different cards of the same thing. And
okay, yeah. What like
literally has any other fractors in the format?
Yeah, you just play Begamot and like pray. And I hope they don't have anything over like 2 or 3 strength. Yeah, actually, it really doesn't, does it? It's got Rising Tide, Gourmmont. Is that it? Is that
nothing else? Yeah, I think it's it.
Shite. That's quite funny. Shaper has
Exactly, the
more.
worst fractal
Shaper
pack
has
ever.
more breakers right now than.
Yeah, I know. It hurts so bad.
Bring back Berserker. Let's go. That's funny.
Like, I would give anything to get Paperclip back.
So if you had Corroder, where do you put Corroder? A tier, B tier, C tier, or D tier?
In the current meta, probably S tier.
Corroder's solid B tier, I think.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so if Corroder's definitely B tier, then Rising Tide, based on what you said, you would play Corroder over this any day, should be C tier.
Yeah, but like it's basically the same card. Like it's the Office meme where they showed the 2 like papers.
Koga's pointing out that we're all wrong because we also have Banner, so you can play Banner.
Or the Mercury card, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. I'm putting this in C tier as much as it's gonna turn up
No,
based
you're not.
on.
You're putting it in B tier because we have 2 against 1.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not arguing either way. I think it is. It's better content if you put every other card in B tier, but that's my only argument for it.
Yeah. Well, that means we've got to move Shred. Okay. This card I don't think goes in B tier, but we'll see what you two think. This is Cacophony. This is a virtual resource that costs 3, which is gonna do some sabotage if you're trashing or stealing cards, and it's sabotage free. This only takes 2 power counters, which feels.
It's going in C tier, yeah. That's what you really mean.
Well,
It's
actually, what do you think?
Dream card. Like every single set has to give 1 card for Padma Junk Air Joyers to like build their deck around, and then it'll complain in Janet general chat when the opponent actually wants to play the game and not like enjoy the jank with them.
Okay. I mean, last set gave us like 1 billion Padma cards, and none of them ended up in Padma, right?
Yeah. But people played like Cataloger Padma, Lopi Padma. But like this Cacophony is going to do exactly the same thing.
Okay, but what about just in Anarch?
But like,
in Anarch, it really crushes acid spam. If you're playing as acid spam, this probably just ends their whole career. If you're not, I don't see why you would play this over twinning. Like, it's actually very hard to charge when you actually get into a game with it.
Like, I mean, is definitely in there before this, but in like asset meta, this kind of cooks.
Yeah, and this is maybe the reason that you would play like free Gourmmont over, or you'd play Gourmmont over Copulation if you're a Cacophony deck. I genuinely think that this is gonna end up quite busted because I think it's easier than. Basically, I'm quite used to charging cards, not necessarily out of Padma, but out of various things, and I think this is easier to get to 2 hosted power counters a turn than it seems. Even though the first clause is the first time each turn, because you only need a little bit of like charging support to suddenly be at a point where every single turn you're doing sabotage free at the end of a turn, and that's sabotage free at the end of a turn while you still had your turn. Like, this is like DLR, but you haven't had to just click DLR. You've been able to have your turn, do some stuff, then they sabotage free. Then you have your turn, you do some stuff, then they sabotage free.
What do you consider little support to get this far consistently?
Flux capacitor is potentially the best one.
Like, look, if we still have retrieval run, if we could retrieval run on Orca, this card might be gas, but that's not a legal play at the moment. So
no.
Like it's not, but you can cheat out Orca in other ways. We have like a few ways which we can get out an Orca if if that's the case. And I still think that like you can play Orca, and if you're playing,
what the fuck?
yeah,
you play cheating an Orca into play.
You play Wizard's Chest, you can play Spark, you can, there's various options. You could like, I don't know, use Topan and free Paladin counters to install one for 5 credits. I don't know. Like, there's definitely there's definitely ways to do it.
Your little support is basically just build your deck around this, and you will get 3 sabotages a turn, while your opponent will like access just 2 cards a turn and win.
I mean,
but
maybe
sabotage does need this like glass ceiling where you have enough sabotage to actually make it work. Like Esa currently gets there, Cacophony will not get there.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to say I'll go with whatever you two think, but I would be putting this in A tier because I think someone's going to break it and it's going to like break things. Jeff's going to put it in C tier. What are you two going to put it in?
I think it's either total garbage or the most broken card ever, depending on what the support is. So we can put it in B tier, and it's going to be either or.
No. I'm going to make you choose. I'm not going right in the middle with this one. You have to choose. It's either total garbage or it's the most broken card ever. What are you saying?
Think of the content if we put it in B tier.
No, the content's boring if we put it in B tier. Where I think we need to make a wild action. Like basically, I'm happy with this going either end tier. You want to put it in D tier? Augustus, what are you saying? Like, if you had the only 2 choices are S tier or D tier, where are you going?
I think D tier.
Okay,
like boys having a dream on here.
I'm putting it in D tier. I think it's going to be S tier. But I'm putting it there because that's the option. I'm reminding us that we had
a free option select. I hate this so much. Like if this like somehow turns good after like 15 years,
well then
we're going to be so fucking flexing over this.
That's true.
I mean, also
that's the thing we have to accept, I suppose.
Look how well these art work together, like Spree into Cacophony. Like it does make sense, like that's
it's
that's
almost like every single Topan card is good and every single Rio card is bad. Interesting.
Jeff's counting flux capacitor mentions, and you better have both hands ready, my friend. Right, we've got the last Anarch card here. This is Rent Rioters. This is 2 cost. This says day job, but not quite. Connection CD, so it's relevant with that 1 card which steals clicks, which would actually be pretty hype right now. Click, trash. It's got a trash can on it. Back mention. That's back mention number 2. Gain 9 credits. Are we playing this in anything which isn't maybe Seb or Topan?
No, you're not playing this in Seb in Topan either. Like it's just a worse day job. Like come on.
I mean,
day job was already bad.
Have you seen our economy choices, Max? Things are dire.
I have seen them. It's not this bad, brother.
Like this could, like, if you're playing a Seb deck that's running Julie anyway, then this is like kind of not the worst.
Yeah, if you literally run out of connections, you can play this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did cut it from my Topan deck. I don't think it's good in Topan, but it might be good enough in Seb because Seb like has extra clicks and stuff. And
okay, so Seb deck is going to be 60 cards, and you're not cutting this.
Maybe I might be cutting them.
If you're not cutting this, I will come and yell at you.
Okay, noted.
I hadn't actually considered playing this in something like you might. Like the thing is, the meta right now, I don't think you've ever got time to click this because everyone's playing things like freaking the MBM one, not Synapse, the good one. Nebula, yeah. And it's like,
okay, fuck you. Okay, this will be next week, never mind.
Yeah, we can't get into that right now. But
the hot takes will be flying though, you can bet on that.
But like like I don't think you have. Maybe Baz could play this because like you get the click compression from like running, and you're like, yeah, okay, fine, I can install this, and then like maybe next turn like click for 9 and install a class axe or something. But yeah, I think if you need some serious like click compression to be able to play this.
Or better, you just don't. I think it's the
yeah. Maybe you just
day job back, please.
Do you think Day Job was better than this?
100%.
Yeah, that is undeniable. It just has a bigger number, objectively speaking.
Like only interesting thing about this card is that Lat is in the artwork for some reason. Like, what the fuck is brother doing there?
I think if Anarch at the moment would very happily play Day Job, I think, given where the other options are. But this is not Day Job, so we won't.
I quite like Jonald's take here that Reg Hashiko might play one of these as the like taking a turn off so that you flip back. Like, I'm just going to take a bunch of money this turn and then deal, you know. So that
if you could install it off Paladin, it would be real, but you cannot even do that. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
It's slightly better in As, so you know you've got that. You could play it in Whiteblade's Maggie deck because that's got extra clicks out the wazoo. Like, you know, you've installed your Baslar Synth Clan. What are you doing with all those clicks? Well, I'm gonna spend 3 of them clicking for 9 or 7. Technically,
I think we've spent slightly too long talking about Day Job, probably.
Okay, that's fair. Where's it going? It's D tier. Is it D tier? It might be D tier.
Yeah, D like D.
Yeah, D tier's fine. It's like borderline, but it's not.
Oh, I'm not able to drag shit again. Oh, this is terrible. Oh, I can drag this one. Okay, we might have to move. We might have to come back to this one because I can't drag it in a moment. So we're going to say it's D tier. It's going to go there. Ironically, I can't drag Baz right now, so we're going to have to miss Baz for a second. Why can't I drag these cards? That's annoying.
Wouldn't be a Netrunner stream without some technical difficulties.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Shall we talk about Baz and then hopefully I'll be able to drag him later and we can get there because this is going to be fun. Right, Baz. Barry Wong. He's a Trimath veteran. He's a criminal that says whenever the corp reses a piece of ice, you may install 1 resource or piece of hardware from your grip. Try me. Axu, you should probably go first on this one. You think he's shit?
I mean, no, I think this is like the best criminal identity currently in the game. I would want to say it's best in the like entire history of criminal, but Andromeda is better than this, and Geist is better than this. But like this plus Boomerang is just so broken that it will carry the whole game for you. Like you play this, you play Boomerang, and you play like some like other econ option that you can get for free on the table. You don't need to get this like million clicks on this. You just get the couple really important Boomerang triggers. And then you just destroy the opponent with like every single econ denial card that Krim has. And your opponent just cannot do shit. Like, I don't understand why people are calling this bad. Like, I just don't get it. It's an idea that says whenever. And like, criminal is the faction that's a DRS stuff. Like, oh my god. I don't get it. Like, you rather play Militia T and never fucking draw cards because you don't hit the run events. Like, come on.
Well, that's just bad deck building. What if you're playing against someone who has 3 pieces of ice?
Then you play criminal and just econ denial them to shit.
With what econ denial? Transfer of wealth?
I don't know, like transfer of wealth and like something else.
Hijack Gunner's back?
I have not gotten that far in my logic of thinking, but like you're criminal, you're good enough into assets, I think, in general, like historically.
Well, yeah,
Also,
because for the last like 6 years you've had Miss Bones. like criminal's been fine into assets. Well, yeah, because then you had freaking account siphon and whatever, a million credits. I'm gonna run like 4 times and make 20 credits. Like, you had a ton of econ back in the day as criminal, so you were fine. And then recently you've had Miss Bones, so you're fine.
Econ in the game currently.
Probably true.
Okay, maybe Shaper.
No, well, Shaper's better at recurring fermenters, which is definitely something.
Yeah, I just think this plus Boomerang is way too busted not to be S tier.
I was going to suggest that we put every single Crim card in the A tier. And Bass seems along those lines. I do agree that it was like definitely top 2 Crim identities. I can accept that it might be the best. But I don't know that it's like OP as a Crim identity. I don't know.
Okay, I guess it depends on what we count as there as. Is as there like best cards in the history of the game, or best cards in the set?
It's the set. We're talking about the set.
Then it's definitely as there.
Well, we're talking about the set in terms of how it relates to the current meta. Let's put it that way. Or like, not that we know what the fucking current meta is, but what we assume the current meta is going to be.
I think my S tier might be just 1 card to this set currently, but maybe I can broaden my definition.
I don't think we can. I can't put this in S tier, Axio. Yeah, like it's just.
I know you're smoking weed somehow.
Well, yeah, I'm a pot smoking Shaper. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, yes, this plus Boomerang is very strong. That's potentially as much a thing of Boomerang being good. Like, but you can do the same thing like that Baz does in Arasana, kind of. It's like slightly different, but fairly similar. And so then, like, is Baz better than Arasana, and is Arasana S tier?
I mean, Arasana is also S tier, and like you get access to criminal card pool, which I think is better right now, and you get to like install other stuff than programs as well, which is really good right now. Like you basically have clickless 3 credits with the no free launches and stuff. Like you just get free installs.
Okay. Cold Lava says yes to both. Arasana is green Baz. That's fun, and both should be in S tier. I mean, people are liking him. I think we stick him in A tier for now, and if he wins Worlds, then we'll concede that you were right all along.
Deal.
Sweet.
This bodes well.
Okay, but you want to take bets? Like, which will win a major tournament first? Baz or Cacophony?
Oh, yeah. Baz, because, like...
Fuck no, come on. Give me the free monster.
No, because I live in the UK, and the UK is like Crim, they're Crim players. As long as there's good Crim cards, then they'll play Crim.
Like, then
so
you need a UK player to win like an actual major tournament, though.
So I think Baz is way more likely to win a tournament. I think Baz is way more likely to win a tournament. This is what I'll say. I'll say Baz is more likely to win a tournament, but Cacophony is way more likely to get on the ban list than Baz is. That's what I'm gonna say. That's a bet which is almost never gonna like come to fruition. But if it ever does, I'll be knocking.
I'm not agreeing to that because that's just true. Why Baz is getting ever banned?
Okay. Musli Hat with a big T. The multifarious marketeer She is an identity that says when your turn begins, look at the top card of your stack. If your card's an icebreaker or run event, you may reveal it and add it to your grip. So fun callback to the old Oracle May decks of the past, especially the ones that just played like 43 events and 3 bin breakers and just threw the bin breakers into the bin. Is this good? This is a Crim card that says draw on it. Is that good?
Great.
Sorry,
I think, like,
Augustus, go.
she might not be as good as Baz, but it's like if Baz is the third best Crim identity of all time, Musli Hati is the fourth, I guess. Very close behind, I think.
I think you'd take Sable over her.
I don't know, man. Draw a card is a big number.
Draw a card like every 4 turns when you just don't line up the correct cards on top.
You draw a card like more than every other turn. Like,
I don't know, like every time I have been playing her, you never fucking hit the correct cards for some reason.
Yeah, that's just bad deck building on your front. Like,
it is awkward that if you miss one turn, you have
to stick. Like, what the fuck are you saying? Come
on. My deck is 60% hits, so you might have bugged JNet or something.
I think I took like a couple of run events out, to be fair.
there we go.
I mean, your deck was fucking 60 cards, so I had to take something out.
It was 50, very normal stuff.
Come, see, no shot, it was 50. Like, it's definitely like 55 at minimum.
Axu is the person that puts like six programs and 3 virtuals in their deck and then gets annoyed when Gachapon doesn't hit. So I mean, that's pretty bold. So Augustus coming in saying what, like, your top criminals are like basically Andromeda, Geist, Baz, and then Big T. That's wild.
Yeah. Do you have a name of another crim you would put in that list? Oh, 419, maybe.
419 and Leela, potentially.
But like, y'all think Bass is better than them?
Yeah. Also, Ian Sterling has got 2 credits on him, so we shouldn't disregard that.
To be fair.
Oh yeah, and Liza's like bustedly good. Okay, so Big T is like mid in terms of where she lies.
My point is that she's comparable to Baz. I don't know where you put all the other Crimson past around Baz, but I think she's with them.
Yeah, so I think you still take Sable over like Militia T there.
I would agree with Axu here. Like, I think, like, okay, so you're getting an extra draw a turn. Sable potentially gets an extra click a turn, and you could just use that click to draw. Like, at the end of the day.
Does Sable get an extra click every other turn, though? Like,
yeah, you get an
archives?
Extra click every turn.
And then you look at a Bran on R&D and a Bran on HQ, and you cry.
Yeah, with your double chest vent, like, just hook them.
I don't know. Sable is fine if you want to play Deep Dive or something like that.
Also, like, you have to make your deck like kind of worse just to play this idea, right?
I think that's the big problem. I think it probably feels a bit like building a Ken deck where, like, you got some value. You definitely got some value out of Ken, but you really felt like you had to put your deck in a certain way, and that can also sort of play into certain corp strategies.
Silly things like putting Concerto and whatnot in their deck, but you don't have to do. Like, I think the deck that I played at Sunrise is playing only good cards, and like a Maintenance Access, which isn't a good card, but it was good contest.
You have to play one.
And like that, like, you could just play that as a Sable deck, and you wouldn't make any changes to the deck, I don't think. But it's better in Big T.
You definitely would. You just put like all the mark cards in there also, or the one mark card.
Yeah, you would play Info Bounty specifically. That would be the one change you make to the deck.
I guess I want Data Sucker also.
Really? For what?
To lower the strength. You're playing Moscow without Data Sucker. Come on.
Well, we have Game Dragon. That's fine. Anyway, If y'all want to
I'll
write
come
me
to
on
game.
this, feel free. But I think this is a high A tier card.
I mean, it's A tier for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, it's going in A tier then. I'd have maybe said B, but like I'm not a Crim
It's A
player,
tier,
so
but
it's
I think best would be S tier. So like,
fair. Okay, we have Clean Laundry. It's free credit run any service. If successful, gain 6 credits. I mean, this is probably the first card that we've seen which free copies of get slot immediately into every criminal deck, right? I don't see any criminal deck that's not playing 3 of these.
That's accurate, I think. Card is very good.
yeah, I hope this is the S tier card Augustus mentioned. Like this card is
Oh.
just like one of the best cards. Like
I didn't
Dirty
have
Laundry
it
is
in
one of
S
the best cards in the
tier.
game.
I
Better
don't.
than Dirty Laundry.
No, yeah, it's better than Dirty Laundry, but I don't think that it immediately makes it an S tier card. Like, you're not winning games because you're playing 3 copies of Clean Getaway.
No,
you're
single deck
better.
Entirety of Netrunner in the future. Every single criminal deck in the future will play 3 of this.
Yeah, so it's like a big A tier card. That's big A tier energy in my mind. That's like, it's not winning those games, but it will be in every single one of them. Like, I think we just slot this straight into A tier and move on.
Like, I don't think I would be
Scroll
mad.
down a bit on the channel. I want to read the comment on the review on the card.
Why? Should I actually do this?
Because I need to see if they actually sort of secure this bad take somehow.
What, you think my A tier branding is a bad take? Are you
No,
what?
like the comment there.
This is fine, isn't it? Well, it appears like a worse one, but they think it's better.
Yeah, okay, then it's good. Never mind.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think we just
needed to check if they secure the take.
Yeah. We can just put this here. We can continue with criminal tier being A tier for now. Okay. Lie low. Yusengrim, it's been a pleasure. Actually claiming Shaper has the best run economy is a wild take. Well, we can talk about that. I think it's probably wrong as well.
Yeah, I missed that take, but I also disagree.
Lie low. So this is a double because we're having double the fun this set for sure. We can either draw 4 cards or we can remove 2 tags for 1 credit. It's 1 influence. It's, I guess, what you'd call, well, it's not really a tech card because it is a draw card. It's not an amazing draw card, but it is a criminal draw card. Are we playing this in criminal? I don't think we're playing it outside of criminal, so are we playing it in criminal is the big question.
It's pretty fine. Like, it isn't like a strength of criminal or anything that they have this, but you put it in your deck, you play it sometimes.
You play it when you don't have influence to import all the nukas and rituals.
Yep, that's fair.
Like having this makes you happier to skip on the nuka influence, but yeah, if you can spare the nuka influence, you would.
I mean, I think like Nuka is the busted draw card, right? Like Nuka's gonna be your probably the first card that you turn to if you're just looking for draw in current one. So, you know, like obviously it's going to be worse than that. I don't think it's terrible. I think it will see some play, but I don't think it's very good. So I think we just like, just go straight into C tier?
I think it's good enough to be B, probably. Like,
it's still criminal draw. Like, I was going to put it in A tier.
Whoa, we're not putting it in A tier.
Okay, to be fair, based on what I said, like, yeah, B tier is probably fair.
Yeah, because, well, we'll get to it, but I don't think we're putting Ritual in A tier. Well, I know we probably are putting Ritual in A tier. Anyway, we'll get to that shortly. So, maintenance access. This is our like sneak door run event. It's a double though, but we can run archives, and then instead we will be approaching HQ. This could be used to sweep HQ, but it's more likely to be used for running all 3 centrals, I would imagine. I think it sees players at least a one of in any of those criminal decks which want to run all 3 centrals. Do we think it sees more play than that?
Well, I did just put 2 in my deck, which is, but that's like if Nebula gets banned, this card gets a lot worse. But it has a lot of utility against Nebula, which is.
I think you still play 1. If you play like Twinning and the Copulation. You play 1, and like just at some point, you basically will like force an access on HQ when they're not expecting it.
I would much rather overclock into HQ, to be honest. Like, and early in the game, this really doesn't.
Triple Bran on HQ, you cannot get in there though.
Okay, that's a very specific world.
if they put triple Bran on HQ, they're losing everywhere else. So I think you're probably fine.
Probably.
Like this, you know, obviously it's a double, which technically makes it harder to play with deep dive. But if you're playing Swift, Sable, deep dive, then you've got clicks out the wazoo, so you don't really care. And yeah, I like your take that like you might play 1. It's like that. You know, it's like the you think you're kind of okay, and you've maybe pushed like in what looks like a safe server, and I'm actually going to sort of sweep HQ when it looked fairly safe, and, you know, bounce stuff back with Hermes and all of that. It's going to see play in decks which are trying to use Knife, and that's probably about it. I don't know if it sees any play outside of Faction. It's like awkward.
That's a bit too much.
Yeah, it's like anyone, if you want this kind of effect out of Faction and you're spending 3 influence on it, then you should just be paying an extra influence and playing an alarm clock, and that will probably do mostly the same thing.
Do we think it's like better than C tier, or what are we talking?
It's an interesting one, because Sneak Door had that kind of pressure valve where you put down a Sneak Door and then the Corp was really forced to ice up archives, and I think that was really significant. And obviously it was even more so when you were playing Steve. But Sneak Door was expensive and it took up lots of MU, and Crim didn't really like the whole like lots of MU being taken up thing because it doesn't have MU consoles. So I think it sits in a slightly different place. I think it's much easier to kind of splash one of these as that like surprise, like I'm gonna potentially like wreck you from a position you didn't realize that I could, whereas you wouldn't do that with Sneak Door. So I think it might see more play than Sneak Door because of that.
Yeah, I mean Sneak Door didn't see too much play after like 2015.
Well, until Bankar Steve came along.
Yeah, it had a small resurgence, but like for a long time the car was basically nowhere to be seen.
So essentially, because it works really well in all these like run all free server ones and can be used in other things, I think this like it probably is a B tier card.
You would want to play that in like a deep dive deck. Like surely that's just a non-ball.
No, not if you're Sable with Swift. You've still got enough clicks to do the double deep dive.
Like no, if you want to go for a double dive or more, then like get a single extra action on HQ. Like I don't get what you're getting by the extra action on HQ.
This replaces this counts as your HQ run. So you like basically if they've got two ice on HQ, you run archives, you play maintenance access, then you just have to run. I mean, you probably run R&D first to make sure that you can get in through R&D, but like essentially, you kind of
think about that.
Yeah, and also you probably couldn't do it from turn 1. No, you couldn't do it from turn 1, but you could like turn 2 or 3 like Sable deep dive probably quite consistently with this compared to like Sneak Door, which you couldn't do. You'd have to draw a Swift very early.
Swift Sable,
yeah.
Makes sense. Never mind.
I think it goes in B tier. Augustus, what's your thoughts?
B tier is fair.
I'm not against B tier. I think it's fine. Until Neverday gets banned, it's going to see play, and after that, probably see some play anyway. I'm also going to vote for Transfer of Wealth to be A, but I need to take a break, so you all discuss why that's true or false.
Okay. So this is mini siphon, 0 cost. We're gonna take a tag, and the corp loses 3, and we gain 2 for each credit lost this way. So potentially a 9 credit swing, which is technically 1 credit less than diversion. But this is only a single. But we do take a tag.
And you get the access still.
And you get the access still, which is really good, or hilariously, it's really bad if you put a Hendrik on HQ, as I did the other day, and found that very funny when they had to access for Hendrik, and then they lost their whole turn and they had a tag.
Like when they dug down to like 1 credit, you don't kind of want to add. You like normally you just take the access instead, but with this you can't do that anymore.
I mean, you potentially still like, as long as you've got the sort of the wealth to clear the tag, then you might still do it, because you might be able to get a good access. If you've got some multi-access going on there, it might still be worth it.
Do it, but like you'd rather not have to take the tag.
Yeah.
Getting the access is still good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Oh, I should point out, Michael in chat sort of pointing out that deep dive stonks are going up a lot. Like, we've lost border control and biovolt, and the new Nisei Mark II is actually not very good against stopping deep dives. You can, if you plan your turn correctly, you can play around it reasonably well.
You like run HQ, run R&D, and if they didn't boop, you run archives.
Yeah, and if they do boop, then you've still made the run on archives, so you're like, well, now I just go back. Transfer of wealth. I mean, this is as crim as it comes, right? A tier seems fine. Like, it's
definitely
on par. It's better in some ways, it's worse in some ways than Diversion of Funds. It's obviously worse than a Cat Siphon, but like
an S tier. Diversion of Funds is an A tier card for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a Count Siphon, which I think is the saddest thing. But
no, and very specifically, this feels a lot more fair than a Count Siphon, which was just insanely busted, and all it really needed doing was tuning down ever so slightly. And I think it's good. I don't think it's like game breaking, and I feel like A tier is absolutely fine.
Yeah, I feel like every single deck probably will, or like maybe not every single one, but like a lot of decks will just play 3.
Yeah.
How good do you think this would be if it said 4 instead of 3? Is that a Count Siphon enough?
Yeah, I was going to say I almost wish this was only 3 influence, so that Seb would be able to play it a bit better, and like maybe you could play it out as Shaper. But it's just such a criminal. Like, it shouldn't be. It should be something which is a big splash if you're playing this outside of criminal. So I do agree with it. Okay, right. Next up we have Detente. This is weird as hell. It's a free cost criminal console, plus 1 MU, where the first time each turn you make a successful run on HQ, you may host one card from HQ at random face up on this hardware. So I guess we're like, are we rolling a dice for this? Does it have to be actually random? Can we does it have to be like more?
No, because it's on successful run. You have not accessed a card yet.
Fine. So you just pick one.
Can pick a random card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
If it was accessing it, it would have the more rulings, but.
And then you can click to add 2 hosted cards to HQ. The runner may access one card in HQ at random. Any player can use this ability, which technically means that the player 2 tables over who's playing Shaper can click this. Doesn't mention a player in the specific game.
Today I learned that the runner can click this. I thought it was only the court.
Yeah. Every time I read this command,
you're
it's different.
A card of HQ and not a card hosted on this.
Yeah. I mean, this is it. Like, the first time I read this card, I thought it was really bad because I thought you were hosting a card from your grip. Now, so did
nobody
Mike.
just read this card correctly. Apparently.
Yeah, no one read it correctly because it's so did Mike P from the process, and he's a much better player than me and much better at working out what cards do. So it's not only me here. Yeah, no one quite understands what this does yet, is my take on it. But it's like, it feels, the fact that it's a May ability for the access is like super important, and I didn't realize that at first, because otherwise I was like, well, you're just gonna kill someone with snare, or like you're gonna click this when you're playing Fule, and they're gonna be like, well, now I'm gonna take a core damage. Which is not the case. You can't load up your hand quite like before you click it, and they can always choose not to do it. So at first I thought it was just like really, really bad. The fact that it's a May balances out how bad it is. And then I got round to thinking that it might be quite good, and I'm worried that I think it might be quite good. Someone talk me round.
Well, I think it's really bad as a Crim console. Like, I don't think you're ever playing this in Crim.
Yeah.
You would just much rather Hermes or any of the other stuff.
Yeah.
In other decks, maybe you play it. Like, this maybe is as good as Rio, but no better. Something like that. You can also play it in Hoshiko.
Yeah, I'm
over Keiko, like no shot.
Not like, unless some very specific things are true about the meta, but maybe you do.
Like, I can certainly see this. It feels more like an Anarch effect, maybe just because it's the thing that feels the most like more that we now have, in a sort of weird way. But it
could also be an Arsana card. You just pressure HQ with this.
Yeah, and I think that the fact that you can do some nonsense with host it, like if you end up hosting agendas on it, then you have the way of either over installing it or selling it or rejigging it or a multitude of ways of going, right, I'm trashing this, the agendas are now in the bin and I'm going to go and scoop them up, is like a potential play. There's also the fact that if you can run HQ every single turn and you're hosting something on this and it's important stuff because the Corp is playing some kind of like combo-y deck, or you're stealing all of their seamlesses or nano managements or whatever they've got going on, then you can get into this semi sort of headlock state where the Corp has to click this, has to spend a click at least once every 2 turns to like get stuff back that's in HQ. And if you combine this with things like copulation and maybe sabotage, or if you're playing I don't know Chishushka and you've also got a detente down, like you're suddenly doing like a lot of damage to the Corp's hand, and I think that could be quite good.
Way too much stuff for that to happen. And like in general, this card is like going to be a half an access, like around about that per card that like every single time you access HQ, except if you host an agenda, of course. But like, I just don't think that's enough, especially on a console. Like, if this was like a resource that you can install, and that was like a criminal win condition, that would be sick. But competing here with Hermes is way too tough. Competing with Penish, however, is way too tough, I think. Like, you just cannot play this because you take up the console slot.
Now, I somewhat agree with you, but I will also say that that's exactly what Jeff and Andre said when they were looking at Hermes and going, no shot anyone plays this because then you're not playing Penny Shaver. And then everyone playing.
Way better of an effect.
Yes, maybe. It kind of depends on what your deck's doing. I agree that Hermes is probably a better effect. I think in Anarch this might be a better effect.
Full HQ, but like your opponent can just put ice on HQ, and if your entire deck's idea is to just force HQ runs, your opponent has way too much counterplay for that.
Fair. That's where you want that's where you want your sneak door back. Okay. Augustus, where are you saying this goes in terms of our tier list?
I think it'd be like B or C tier, one of those.
Axu, are you saying C tier?
Yeah, C.
You see, I think this is the other card which, like, I think it won't get banned. I think people will want this to be banned at some point.
Yeah, Janet, casual players.
Like
people complain. The same people that complain about Hermes will want this banned.
Okay, we'll put it in C. I think this one might creep up on us, but we'll find out. We'll find out on that one. I'm not reading this name. It's silly. This is Maggie Rapid something. It's a weapon, so stonks go up on our putlat value. Whenever you make a successful run on HQ, you may trash this hardware to derez one installed corp card. Doesn't have to be ice. So again, we've got this kind of upgrade on a ice effect previously. Obviously,
Alex did say you could derez hostile architectures with it, which is really hot, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean that's what, when I first read this and realized it was card, my immediate thought went to like, hey, you can derez a hostile architecture. You could derez a Plutus, which is like not as impactful because it's more easy to like re-res a Plutus in some ways. Maybe if you're sort of trashing cards from hand, it's less easy to. But feels
the porthole wins you the game.
Yeah,
your
kind
opponent
of.
resing and porthole wins you the game, though.
Yeah, but it's more crushing to wait till they've got to 5 like bad pub and then you go in and derez it and go, yeah, you can do that again if you want. That's actually very funny. There's probably some like nonsense that you do in Eternal using this and something like Councilman to like really mess about with stuff. I don't know what, but there we go. That can be worked out at some point. This feels pretty good. This feels a lot better than Emergency Shutdown. You agree?
Yeah, being able to like put it down beforehand is so nice. When like big problem with Emergency Shutdown for me was that you are often click text on the terms you want to use it already.
Yeah.
So like playing this, installing it, then your opponent has to worry about stuff much more. When you can go like run remote, run HQ, run remote.
You've also got the nice like this might even see play in like Bankar decks, which are wanting to kind of pressure big ice by going like, right, I'm gonna Bankar your ice and then you res it, and then next turn I'm gonna Bankar HQ, like after installing this, run HQ, derez your big ice, go back in on the remote. Like I think there's quite a bit of play that this potentially has.
Yeah, it's also hardware, so you can resist off bats, which is nice.
Yeah, obviously, so immediate S tier.
I
And
don't know how much
That far, but
better.
like, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that this costs 1 and not 0 is a big downside. I think even given that, it probably is better than E-Strike, but very good E-Strike. It's not better than E-Strike. The E-Shutdown. But like it's decent. I don't know. I would want to put it in B tier, but like a good B tier. I don't know. It could be hard.
I mean, the fact that you think that this costs 1 and not 0 means that you don't play enough as, you know.
Yeah, guilty as charged.
I think I agree. I think we put it in B tier. I don't think it's quite A tier.
I think it's A tier.
Like
no, I'm definitely like Baz pilled.
Yeah, no crimps. Not even Baz is playing 3 of these. You know, like Baz is playing like 1, maybe 2.
Play are fucking backbreaking.
Maybe.
Like, this is definitely a card that will win you the game sometime.
This is.
Like,
yeah,
it feels less important than Transfer of Wealth and Clean Getaway, but more like good than Scrounge or the other cards.
Yeah, at least put it on top of B.
Okay, we'll say it's in top of B. I'm not rearranging anything though.
The next one's an easy D tier, right? You all agree on that?
Okay, Sang Cancel is an icebreaker. It's a Dakota. It's good if you're playing a run event, and it's pretty bad if you're not playing a run event. So 2 strength, which isn't the worst. It means that you like immediately get through things like VSA exclusively. And so this costs 3 credits to boost 2 strength, or 1 credit to boost 2 strength if you're playing a run event at the time. Are you playing this, Shibboleth, or Cat's Cradle in your Crim decks?
I didn't put it in my big T deck, which I think shows how much I disliked it. But I have been called a heretic.
Yeah, you just import Unity over this, and you will be fine.
For the record, I would play Shibboleth if somehow it was an identity that had 0 influence, but like, I think Unity is the answer, probably.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I guess the one thing is that this gets to like 4 strength right now is pretty relevant. There's lots of 4 strengths code gates out there. A lot of the sort of the most common big code gates are 4 strength, or seem to be. You've got sort of Vampire Nasa, Messenger Chesvo, MIC, that kind of thing. And as long as you're playing a run event, then maybe this is okay into those ones, because you're getting to strength for 1 credit, which feels okay. However, Unity, you're probably also getting to strength for 1 credit. Maybe Unity is slightly worse in the very early game.
Yeah, but you have boomerangs and every other good criminal card for that specific phase of the game.
So you're gonna be pretty bold to be like Clean Getaway and into remotes to turn this on against us, like.
Yeah.
So early game, this is also not that consistent.
That's fair. I think that's probably the biggest thing. Like, unless you're playing like 3 Bravado and 3 Raindrops Cut Stone, you really need to know what that, like, maybe like you might just like blind overclock or something into a remote, but Crim doesn't tend to play overclock. Like, maybe Big T does, but unlikely. You know, like, they're not a great faction for doing so. And this obviously ain't getting splashed anywhere else, because why on earth would you? Is this going straight into D tier for us?
I think it's
I think
better
so.
than Cat's Cradle, to be fair.
Is it though?
I think so. Like, I think Cat's Cradle is just so bad comparatively.
I think the one
Like,
credit
this at
tax
least
on
has
Cat's
some
Cradle
use.
is relevant right now.
No, it's
Especially if you're playing like the Maggie Bomb and derezzing all their shit left, right, and center with your Baz triggers, like you're planning to do in your S tier Baz
I
deck.
think that's that again. That's committing way too much for the bit. Like no.
So actually, what's this
But
to be? What, like
I
C
think
tier?
Cat's Cradle is like. No, I think it's still D tier, but like.
Oh, right, fair.
Yeah, like realistically, like I don't think this will see ever, like play ever.
I think it
Like
will
the
see
faction
play,
championship
but
or
just not in great decks. Like but I guess that's
I
what
mean,
you're
every single card will see play in bad decks.
saying. That's a very fair point.
People will play the next card in bad decks. So
Yeah, well, what are we thinking? Fran Sophia Ward. So free cost connection. We're increasing the res cost of ice, and if the corp is really rich, we can use this to bypass that ice. Augustus, thoughts on Fran Sophia Ward?
I don't know. I have not found a reason to put this in a deck. It's possible that she does something sometimes, but I don't like. This is after they res their ice. So even if they're 15, if they don't res ice, they can dock between before and below for 15. So it just seems, I don't know. Like maybe it's a C tier card, but that's as high as I would put. Probably just D tier.
yeah, like people didn't play Xanadu beforehand, or like Fernando Cortez or something. Like the effect is cute. It will not do enough to actually include in a deck and pay 3 credits to install it.
I think that's pretty fair. I think this is just a weird card where the whole like I'm gonna try and make your ice cost more, and it's like, but if you've got loads of money, then I might be able to bypass it. Just feels all a little odd. I mean, paying 3 to bypass an ice in the early game when maybe when the corp is like has managed to unload a regolith or something like that is technically the same as an inside
they
job.
actually rest the ice and go below 15 credits again.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing.
Like,
Do you ever? You kind of want to play this in a deck with Peace in Our Time, right? Like you play Peace in Our Time, and then next turn you install Fran Sophia Ward and run the remote.
I mean, yeah, but then this first ability is kind of pointless when you're giving your opponent money to rest the ice with.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's my biggest problem with it is like I'm either using that first ability or I'm using that second ability, and I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if they kind of work. Maybe the second ability is maybe the like bypass ability is better against like asset spam decks where you can't keep control of their board and their credits go through the roof but they don't have much ice.
In an asset matchup, or installing a 3-cost thing?
Probably
you know
not.
What? This card might be better if it didn't have the first line of text, to be honest. Because like the first line of text actively this stops the second line of text from working, and the second line of text might be redeemable if you can fire it.
Yeah, it's weird because it's nearly an inside job that you can use at any point, but the corp has this weird control over whether you can use it or not, and the most likely thing that you're going to want to bypass with this is something really big, which is probably really expensive. Like I'm just waiting to see the first game where someone reses a Biowack for like the full price, just so that they can't Fran Sophia Ward through it, because I'll find that hilarious, like in a really, really a very, very funny interaction.
Yeah, then Bass will install the backstitching and bypass it anyway.
Nah. Yeah, that would be pretty sick. Okay, so like, are we sticking this down in D?
I think it's still more playable than every other D card. Like, it's still
Is it
solid,
though?
which like has an effect. Yeah.
Like a
Like
shred does technically do stuff.
you can LARP as like a boss player, and like do your cute DRF things. Okay, it's not as good as Hunt or the criminal console though.
I don't think it fits up here. Like,
yeah, can you do like top of D?
Yeah, sure. We'll say it's in the top of D. That'll make you happy. Okay, open market. This one seems a bit better. It's a job. It's a location. So no, actually, locations can't be trashed by Lizzie Mills, can they? Something else like. But anyway, you load 6 credits onto it, and then you can use it to install your other 2 copies of open market and take a credit at the start of each turn. Is this the second card? Well, maybe this doesn't go into every criminal deck actually, because it definitely doesn't go into like big T decks. But is this the second card which is most likely to be seen as a free of in some decks?
I think so. Like if you're playing Class Act, you can just put open market in your deck. You don't even need any other connections or resources or jobs. Because this is a really bad daily cast, but it's still a daily cast that eventually pays you out for credits.
Yeah.
I mean, people are overcommitting into this, which is the issue current. Like, I don't think Red Team is still worth it. Like, I think people are just going in, putting every single connection in there, and like acting like this is the card that carries them.
Yeah, I agree. Like if you're doing that, like this isn't actually that many credits and not worth like a massive build around, but it kind of doesn't have to be a build around because it works with itself. So like if you've got credits in an open market and you draw another open market, you can install the open market with your open market. And so like by putting 3 copies of this in your deck, you're just, it synergizes with itself, so it's an easy one to kind of do there. You've already got 3 jobs and connections there. Like Augusta said, you're probably playing 2 to 3 copies of the Class Act and maybe a couple of other connections or jobs, and that's probably good enough.
Yeah, I mean, like there's the Debit Downtown, which is like a really good card now, and you like have more connections that you can play with this.
Yeah, I mean, Michael's saying if Red Team wasn't good enough when we have Career Fair, it's not gonna be good with this either. I think this is potentially slightly better than Career Fair, but Career Fair, like this does have a limitation of it being a connection or job, but I think a lot of the stuff in Crim right now is either a connection or job. But yeah, there's definitely they've tried to make Red Team. They've tried to make you play Red Team. They've like, here we give you Julie. You can click Red Team for free. It's like, no, people still won't do it. Are we like bold enough to put this straight into A tier, or?
I think I would be, but it's close.
Yeah, I think it's A tier. Like it's a criminal card that says credits on it that doesn't need you to run, which is by itself like a good card.
Yeah, probably the first one of them that NSG's printed in. Well, the first one of those that NSG's printed. So we can leave that there. Okay, very good. Okay, holy hell. So this is Dewey. Dewey is a shaper. That on one side says when you make a successful run, if your memory is full, you may flip this identity and gain a credit. And on the other side, which I think we can see here, says whenever you make a successful run, if you have at least 1 unused MU, you may flip this identity and draw 1 card. Now, this is potentially the hardest card, in my opinion, to have any kind of opinion about. because I just don't understand how the hell she works.
Well, I think it's very easy to have an opinion on how good she is.
Yeah.
She's really bad. Like, you put it in detail. But this is the most fun card of the set, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And, like, if you're playing Netrunner for fun, Dewey is very high up there. But I don't think there's any reason to play her outside of just having fun.
So
okay. Imagine if there's a heavy asset meta.
Yeah.
And you can like get this to like full MU consistently. And you open up with Knick-Knack.
Yeah. Then you're making like 4 credits and drawing like 3 cards a turn or something.
Yeah.
Which feels pretty hot.
Way too far out of reality. Which is so never happening.
So my initial opinion was that this was like pretty bad. And we'll answer some go back and listen to what we said on Bling, both of you, but don't do that right now. Just carry on watching. We're a bit higher on Bling. We think that Bling is gonna at some point be cracked, is the short and long of it. Dewey, I was pretty sure was pretty bad. I'm like, this feels like a lot of hoops to jump through, and feels like I'm going to be playing like Netrunner like install runner solitaire for like trying to get value out of it. Then either Koga or Warlock, one of them told me that it's cracked, and I now don't know what to believe because I need to see this. I need to see this deck played well, and I don't know if anyone understands how to play it well yet.
I think they probably put a different Shaper card that is OP into their decks, and that's carrying them, is my assumption. But we'll talk about that later. I think unless Woa or Koga can come in here and tell us we're wrong, we just put this in D tier and move on.
Okay. Fine. We'll stick it in D tier because that was my immediate reaction. I'm waiting to see what happens here. But I agree. Like once I get a chance to play this, I do think I'm going to have a lot of fun with Dewey losing games.
Yeah. I mean, you'll win games. Like she's like if Lat got banned and Magdalene got banned, you would play Dewey and it would be a good competitive deck.
Well, no, because I'm still playing I'm playing Arasana over both of those anyway.
Okay, imagine every single Saber identity got banned except Dewey. Then Shaper might still be the best deck, but there's no reason to do that over just playing Lat, which has actual text.
It would probably be just enough for Arasana to get banned for me to consider playing her, to be honest. Like, Lat's boring as hell.
Yeah, but you have the new one.
Yeah. Well, here we go. So here is Maggie number 2, the Crypto Architect. Maggie says, whenever you discard cards to reach your maximum hand size, you may install one program or piece of hardware from among these cards. Lots of installing going on in this set. Axu, do you think that Maggie is the way forward for Shaper?
I think you play Lat over this, but this is pretty close.
I have seen too many people get baited by the ability and be like, oh, I didn't have a hedge fund on turn 1, so I'm just going to install this like random card, and then suddenly I draw hedge fund and I can't play it. And then you just like spend a turn clicking for 4. But I think if you just don't do that, if you like are more conservative, she's great. I don't think she's S tier or anything.
Click a turn, which is like Lat tier, but Lat you don't have to play the mini game, but your click is worse. So like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that was my like one thought. Like you can get those games playing as or against Lat where you just play as Jinteki and you keep your hand size down like pretty low because you're installing assets or whatever you're doing, and so Lat just doesn't trigger. Whereas Maggie, you're in control of her triggers to a point. I think it's ironic that Maggie's favorite card was probably Creative Commission, because the one thing that you want to do right after, like just before you discard, is like play a play an econ card that like boosts you up to a point where you feel good about installing stuff. So kind of ironic that that she came out just as that gets banned. And I feel like a lot of how good she'll be, I mean, to me, it comes down to how good things like Knick-Knack and spec work and the like are in this kind of meta. Because if you're trying to install specifically a program or hardware, like you need to be getting some real value out of that, not just like I'm going to set up slightly faster, because there's plenty of decks which can just set up fast. So you need to be like using those installs for other nefarious means. Nice more often pointing out that Maggie works versus PD, which is definitely a big plus, having played lat against PD for a long time and just being the most frustrating thing in the world. Okay. Augustus, what's your thought on where Maggie actually sits?
I think I would put lat in A tier, and she is basically lat in, so I would put her in A tier zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Solid. In she goes. Shaper's taking up the two sides here. Pretty wild. Okie dokie. Illumination. This is a zero-cost run event where we can install 3 cards from our grip one at a time, paying 1 less for each. This is pretty interesting, but kind of, I'm outside of actually playing in Dewey, which is who we see in the artwork here, maybe some lat builds. I'm like struggling with this card because in Shaper it feels like it's at odds with a lot of the other, with what a lot of the other IDs want to do. Like, I don't think I ever want to play this in Maggie as much as there's probably going to be a lot of installs in there because you're wanting to get your like install value off your ID. I don't think I'm playing this in Arasana because the stuff which I want, a lot of it I want to kind of keep in hand. Maybe, but probably not. Like, so I'm struggling to see with this.
You can install a Coalescence and a Muse and like a random hardware and be very happy. This card is really good if you land it on turn 1, and like really bad otherwise is mostly how it ends up being. It also does not help by the fact that Nebula almost always ices R&D, so it makes you sad.
Yeah, it also kind of non-bows with the best card in the set, I think.
What's the best card in the set?
We'll come to it. Don't worry.
All right, it's not bad then.
No.
Yeah, and I mean this is free influence pips, so this is going to be I'm not seeing this splashed outside of Shaper. Cold Lava hitting us with the like environmental testing line, which is potentially kind of hot. If we had some way of like generating a ton of bad pub, like this would be pretty cool, right? Because this is still this.
Chesva? Any Chesva gamers?
Yeah, Chesva is actually kind of hot. Can we install? This is one at a time, right? So we could technically install a Chesva and then use those Chesva credits to do other stuff. So you install your DZMZ, you install for 1 credit, you install your Chesva for free, and then you install your second thing off the Chesva for free. There's definitely some like real nonsense there. But
now you still get the access, so it's not like totally wasted ever.
Yeah, I guess like the fact that this doesn't replace, like almost nothing replaces access in this set, which is kind of interesting. Something which NSG have really moved away from. I think I'm probably at some point someone's going to play this against me and I'm going to be, damn, that was a really hot turn. but I'm cool on
I
it
mean,
at the moment.
there was a game against Toron where like I never drew a second ice in my Nebula deck, and Toron like played 2 of these in a row, and I lost the game because of that.
Well, yeah, because he installed six installs worth at. I don't know how many if you work out how many clicks and credits he saved there, you know, like because it's what 3 clicks or technically two clicks and 3 credits twice. That's like insane. That's like really really good. But yeah, if you just had a second piece of ice, would it have been as good? Probably not.
No, no shot.
The highest of this card maybe you want to put in B tier, but it can be bad. So like
Yeah, but like the
sometimes
good is
worse.
really good though. And
Yeah.
last set we had a card that you called bad, where like it was too situational, and somebody said that the top effect, like when it pops off, it really pops off. And
Yeah.
that
I
card
mean,
kind of
like,
banned.
Overclock's a good card. Is all I can say. But the other thing. So I mentioned the influence. Like, if this wasn't free influence, I'd be really keen to. I'd be really like tempted to play this in criminal. Because you're always going to ice HQ and put a bit more like pressure on HQ, and this is a sick way of kind of causing value, especially like after you've just drawn off class acts and you've got a load of stuff in hand, and then you run and like Augusta says, you've got Chesva and things like that. But I don't know. I don't see it for free.
Eyes at the end, like you just cannot do anything with the card anymore.
Outside of it being really good in Bling Shaper, are we putting it in C?
I think it's B, to be fair.
I'm saying
like,
C.
The effect
I'm
is
gonna.
still really good.
My vote is for B as well.
Your vote is for B as well? Okay, I'd rather play Joyride myself, but there we go. Speaking of Joyride, we have Ritual. 0 cost draw card, 2 influence. It says draw 1 card for each click you have remaining. This would have been pretty hot after my spree turn the other day, where I had about 6 clicks and I'd run 2 servers. It's a worse diesel. Is it still?
Yeah.
And is it still?
It's only slightly worse than diesel. I think this is just an A tier card.
Noticeably worse than diesel, right? Like
I think it's noticeably worse.
Yeah, there's so many times where like draw diesel, play diesel. Like it's annoyingly worse. Like this will never be better than diesel, which is also an issue. Except if you play Eternal and pop Hyperdriver. Yeah. But like
when you draw into a diesel with this, you can just wait until next turn and on turn click 1 next turn.
Yeah, but if
I'm not saying it's better, but I think it's comparable.
No, it's like noticeably worse though. That's the thing. But like it's still a card that is basically like draw 3, which still is like an. I think you don't import this anymore, like you used to do with diesel.
Yeah, I think you import Nuka.
You just import Nukas over this.
And same in Shaper. Like I think I'd be more inclined to play 3 Nukas before slotting Ritual at the moment. Maybe there's like a 2-2 kind of split or something odd, but that like the one time where this is noticeably worse is if you've just done a sort of a run, you've taken more damage than you expected, you're worrying about dying to something ridiculous like a measured response, and you've only got a click or 2 left, and you've got one of these in hand, and it's not going to get you there. Whereas diesel used to be a good like, I'm just going to click this diesel, get myself back up to like a ton of cards, and I'll be like, I'll feel okay. Now you need a Nuka if you're going to do that.
I think if your Shaper deck isn't on 3 Nuka 3 Ritual, you're throwing. So it doesn't really matter.
People beforehand used to play like 3 diesel, 2 Nuka. I think you're switching that over to like 3 Nuka, 3 or 3 Nuka, 2 Ritual. Something
Yeah.
like that,
I don't know.
maybe.
Like people gaslit
If you
themselves
don't
into
hit
thinking
33.
that second Nuka was bad when you drew it, but like I think it was always correct to play through Nuka, and it's always going to be correct to play through Ritual too.
I mean, yeah, fair. Like drawing cards is kind of good.
I mean, I think it's probably still an A tier card, right? Like, there's
like drawing 3. The vibes on this are atrocious, though. Like, I just want Diesel back, you know.
Sadness.
Yeah, I mean, we can put it up there. I think it's nearly bad enough compared to like the problem is like Diesel was such an A tier card that this feels like significantly worse than it, and thus I want to put it in B tier, but I think we can still stick it in A and just go with it. Although that would mean that we'd be putting Nuka in S tier right now, which
I mean, right now,
see,
yes.
Jeff's back and Jeff's agreeing. Nuka wasn't better than Diesel, but Nuka is better than Ritual. There we go. And that's a man who knows his shape of draw. Okay.
Can you put the next 2 cards as the last cards we evaluate for today?
Why? What's wrong with all these other ones?
No.
Okay.
Keep the suspense up.
Game Dragon Pro. The thing I most like about this is how old school Netrunner it feels. As in, this feels like Turbine was busted ass card, and it just felt way too much like it covered all the bases. I like the fact that Game Dragon Pro feels like we're going back to the old style. It's much closer to things like personal touch and even the one that you charged and Net Ready Eyes and things like that. Yeah, this feels like way more down that thing. Now, because of that, it's obviously less powerful. But do we think it's good? Augustus, you're playing this in your Crim decks, right?
I got conned into playing it. I think it's fine. And it synergizes well with Buzzsaw and Carmen specifically. Maybe you just play Echelon instead. But I don't know. I would be putting this around B tier. I would much rather have Net Ready Eyes for what it's worth than this.
Would you?
Net Ready Eyes.
Whenever you initiate the run,
Yeah.
You could also put Net Ready Eyes on an AI, right? That's I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you could, yeah. I think Game Dragon is it does a lot for you, in decks where you in Criminal you really can't anymore fit data suckers sometime when you go double Chessway instead.
Mm-hmm.
And this really helps with some of the breakpoints you have with Carmen and something else. Or basically Carmen only.
Yeah.
And if they stack multiple code gates after each other, you can Game Dragon the Unity or something, and it will do fine. I think if you have 2 influence floating around, and the meta is bit slower, you will import this and be really happy with it. But if it's going to be assets, you just don't have the capital to import this. But I think Shaper always plays 1 or 2.
Yeah. I'll tell you who would have really loved this card would have been Kit. This would have been really great in Kit, who can't or doesn't want to play Turbine for Spark reasons, but would have really, getting your Lobosome to free strength so that it just walks through a magnet would have been pretty hot. Being able to boost your Lobosome and then keep its strength would have been really hot.
I disagree that this is good in Shaper. All the Shaper breakers are not good with it, I don't think.
Echelon break numbers help a lot with this.
Well, you can just install another icebreaker to help with Echelon, right? But that seems it only matters if there's specifically ice with a number to break already. Like you could play Buzzsaw Game Dragon in Shaper, but you would just rather play Unity, and this doesn't play that well.
Yeah, Unity is kind of good.
Like this is still a B tier card, but I would be against any higher.
Yeah, I'm actually leaning lower, but everyone does seem to be playing it.
So I think we
Okay, well,
fair in B.
let's stick it at B.
Middle ground.
Go there. Let's talk about a console that gives you no MU. This is Madani. It's 2 cost. Jeff pointed out that Propeller loves the card, which is definitely true, actually. Like, Propeller, the one issue that you have with Propeller is that sometimes you get to an end game state, and you just get locked out behind a Tattoo Bowler if you can't find anything else. Right, Madani. Host any number of programs from your grip face up on this hardware. They are not installed. Once per turn, 0 credits, install 1 hosted program, paying its install cost. It's kind of like Paul's Cafe, but you can use it wherever you want.
Well, it's Paul's Cafe, but you can host any number instead of just once per click. Seems like it's pretty different.
Arizona now.
Yeah.
We can put this in S tier and then talk about why.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Like I haven't played with it yet. So
it's fucked up.
Oh my gosh, the hot takes are coming. Okay, so I'm just going to move it up here.
Come
and
on.
then...
This is not a hot take. Like, we're fucking lukewarm as it can be.
Really? Like
they just give you 2 clicks every turn, and that's about all you need from it.
Does it not technically give you what? I mean, it gives you 2 clicks, but you've also spent a click to load some number of programs on it. So depending on how many programs you have in hand.
Once, load fucking 6 cards on this.
Okay, like how are you? And like, yeah, I guess you click Nuka twice and then you load everything that you've got in your hand into it.
Yeah, basically. And then it lets like Lat, which typically is the slower, like a slower shaper deck, lets you do the fucked up Arizona things with this card instead.
To add to the list of busted things you can do with it, you can double trigger DZMZs so that they become a double Rezeki.
I mean that's definitely something that I fully appreciate. I'm also big on the fact that this is a card which allows you to play Trojan nonsense out of non-Arasana identities.
Everyone gets to benefit from Fizerum, which is always good.
Yeah, you've got your Fizerum. We might see other Trojans like making themselves known. I mean, you know, like Whiteblade's Maggie list had a Slap Vandal in it, a Fisarum. I think it had a Hush as well. You know, we're seeing those things because you can play them here. It is free influence, which is, in my opinion, one too many for it to be an easy slot into something like Crim, but it would be really fun to play this in Crim with the options which you have. But I don't know how you then deal with MU as an option, as a sort of problem.
Yeah, mostly the problem is that non-shaper identities don't actually have enough programs to like consistently install 4 to 6 on this. You can probably play it out of faction and it would be fine, but it's just going to be an in shaper.
It sounds like I need to play some Madani because I thought this was maybe okay, but
unfortunately for you, it's not that good in Arizona, I don't think. So
that might be a problem.
Yeah, it lets Lat be Arizona, which is like.
Why aren't you just playing Arizona? Like you need to wake up and smell the Trojans. I think that's probably why I'm less hot on it, because I'm seeing this and going, A, it's got no MU in it, so I'm like immediately slightly turned off, and B, I already get a ton of a ton of click compression from installing stuff anyway, but I can see how this would be absolutely nuts outside of that particular engine.
Think of it this way: this is a double Arizona because you get to Arizona on your turn and their turn.
Yeah, and you get to actually keep the program that you can sell for later.
That is true. That is a bonus.
So like propellers you get to keep. Bizarre state already, but like not copulation. Oh yeah, copulation also. Then coalescence, everything. Just hang around is so good.
Is this like potentially broken in Haley? Has anyone tried putting this in Haley yet?
Yeah, that honestly does sound pretty OP.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
That sounds kind of hot. Okay, see how quickly I can spam out like two programs a turn. Okay, well, there's our first S tier card and probably our last S tier card of the. Okay, we've got Azimat. So this is our single piece of asset tech in the entire set. It's a 1 cost, 1 influence program, which is 2 MU, and it's got 2 credits for crashing anything. You may spend hosted credits to pay trash costs. So no more sad shapers not being able to trash your Tranquility home grids with their Parisias. But this is...
Well, I mean, they are going to be sad because they have to play an Azimat in order for that to be a problem.
Well, I think that's the problem here. 2 MU. That's a really, like, this is, I find this really funny because this is 1 influence. So like essentially it feels like this would be an easy splash for like quite a few people, but who the hell has the MU to be able to like splash? Certainly not ever put down multiple of these, right?
I mean, in an asset matchup, probably don't need every single breaker.
In the theoretical meta where every single corp is assets and you're playing Dewey, yeah, maybe you play 2 of these, but I don't think that's a very realistic thing.
Even Dewey, like, I think you play this in like lat if there's assets around.
Well, you play 1 in a lat, sure.
Yeah, just like you played Parisha. I think it feels exactly the same spot. It's just worse in other matchups.
I want to put this in C tier because it's so bad, but you are going to put it in deck.
Yeah, I think it's like B tier for sure. It's an ass card in every single matchup except assets. But in assets, getting 2 crits a turn is kind of hype.
I think we've got to put it in B tier because I think it will, like you say, it's going to see play. Just because your other options right now are just have money. Like, that's it. That's your, I guess, like, there's Fence of Fueno. You can play Demolisher. You can play Lou, or like Gourmont and Copulation. Or you can play Copulation. Yeah, you can play Carnival. But all of those are pretty tricky or have like significant cost, and you could see this as just taking the slot as any Parisia in any shaper deck, and possibly seeing like a splash in other decks, because like you say, like, it's 2 MU, it's going to be a problem. But if the opponent is just going super wide, then you're probably not going to need that many other programs, right?
I hate it that this is a B tier card. I suppose objectively it is.
I mean, yeah, it does look like super bad for a B tier card.
I mean, that's where we're putting it, right? It kind of feels like it's got to. We'll begrudgingly put it in B tier. Okay. Chromatospores. It's the cool shiny octopus. It's a Trojan. It costs 1. It says install only on a piece of ice. Importantly, doesn't have to be rezzed. And the host ice gains barrier, Kogate, and Sentry. It's 2 influence. Not that matters. It's, well, no, it might see play out of faction. It's egret but better. Is it egret but better enough to make it into decks? Axie.
I don't want to be the hater in the room, but like, no.
You always are the hater.
Yeah, the Jank enjoyers will love it, and like it will be doing cool stuff in like your gimmick lobby Somem Orca deck. But in like real decks, not really, probably no.
Yeah, I mean that
one
kind
of my
of
decks, and I've not installed it, so that doesn't bode well for it.
yeah. I mean exactly what you said kind of lines up pretty well because I'm quite excited to do some real nonsense with this. I don't think it's going to be really good nonsense, because I think there's better ways I've got at the moment of doing nonsense in Arasana. I could, as we mentioned earlier, I could possibly see play in something like in Essa, now that Essa's lost Lamb.
Yeah,
Like
if Esa
this,
ever says play again after the rotation, maybe.
you don't think Essa's still good?
I
That's a
don't.
that's a hot take.
I
Problem
think
is that
Esa is like
Essa doesn't have
back
any
in
money at the
the
moment.
garbage there. Yeah.
Wow. I I'm interested in that. I don't think she's lost much apart from losing Lamb, but there we go.
I think that, yeah, I don't think she lost like anything except Lamb, but I think Lamb was like a carrying pillar of the deck.
Also, Dirty Laundry is a big one to lose.
Yeah, I mean, Essa did like playing Dirty Laundry. I guess like we didn't really get any like one cost events at Shred. It's technically a Essa card. Like yeah, like I guess Charm Offensive is maybe an Essa card that
It's a cute Esa card, yeah, but like it's not good enough. Like Esa was this huge pressure engine where you set up like fucked up things at some point, but like you just currently don't have it. Like everybody remembers how bad Esa used to be before people figured out the one good Esa list that people have been basically playing after that. And I don't think any other Esa list that has not basically played the same shell has done anything in tournaments like ever.
Probably because that was technically the best one, but I think there were other potential options out there. Like you had options with like with botuluses and boomerangs and things like that. And obviously that plus Bankar is already pretty good. I think there are other shells out there, but like you kind of just haven't seen them because you have been able to play the sort of the Lamb plus Bergamot suite. Maybe Chromatospores becomes the Lamb in that suite. I don't know, like we play a couple of Sprees, we play some Chromatospores, some botuluses and a Bergamot, and somehow you've got MU for all this. I haven't worked that one out yet, but like it's
you have MU, you have like card draw to draw everything in perfect order. Like that's doing way too much stuff that SI is not supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Maybe Essa can move into more of a like ice destruction type option, like ice destruction.
Yeah,
plus...
then you play Hoshiko.
Well, yeah, but then you don't get the joy of playing Essa.
I don't care about the joy. I want to win.
Fair. In which case, where are we putting Chromatospores?
It's like a C tier card, I think. It'll do something, so it's not
fair,
D.
Yeah.
But...
Cool. I'd be fine with that. Okay, talking about reprints, Devadatta Drone.
This one they made worse instead of better. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because Geralt was so OP in the last 5 months.
It's technically only one influence, and it used to be 3 influence, right? So
yeah, so
like
I would shoot myself slightly less in the foot if I play this.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I don't know.
1 credit less than Nyasha did.
Yeah, it costs a credit less. It has 1 less power counter, and it's 1 less influence. Maybe no, 2 less influence. So it's like it's something, isn't
You're
it?
not importing this. Stop capping.
Yeah, we can just put it in D tier. Forget about this card forever.
I think Mercury. I think
I don't
Mercury
want to
might
talk about this card
import
more
this.
than I want to say.
I think Mercury
No
will import
shot.
this.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mercury probably, but I don't fucking care. Like Mercury can import all the fucking dog shit access cards like that will coin flip to get you the game harder. But like, who cares? Nobody actually wants to play that shit anyway.
Hello, all you Mercury
even-
players out there.
Even if Mercury plays this, they're probably making their deck worse. But sure, people might. That's fair.
I mean, people on the fucking card that says access cards in the Mercury deck, and like, wow, big surprise.
I mean, this is a funny one because I don't know if anyone apart from like basically we haven't seen I can't even remember what it was called now. The previous version of this Niashia like basically did nothing. Trick Shot came out, did something, and then they went, hey, Niashia seemed to be good recently, let's reprint it. So I can only imagine that with Trick Shot going and with Akiko going, which was the only place where it still kind of lived, yeah, I don't really see this seeing play, right? Like we've got better options in faction, I guess, but like this is a cheap install. Like maybe Padma plays it, but then why aren't you playing Cataloger? I don't know why you're not just playing Cataloger. Yeah, don't know. D tier?
If you want to play bad cards, yeah, it's D tier insta.
We might actually.
I think
if we made an F tier, this would probably go in it.
Ooh,
yeah,
strong,
probably.
strong. Okay, talking about F tier cards. This is Principia. The reason that I say that is that when I read this card, I thought it was so bad that I immediately discarded it from my head. So this went straight into my mental binder. In a game the other day, Augustus was talking to me about this card. I didn't know what he was talking about. And then it was like 2 days later where I actually found out that this was a real card and that I wasn't just mistaking what he was saying to me. So, Principia, this is a fractal with some numbers on it. Augustus, why should I care?
This is just better than Pressure Spike.
Yep.
Unless your ice has specifically 7 strength, it costs exactly the same or less to break, and it costs less than 4 a good bit of the time. That's like I'm not gonna claim that this is better than Rising Tide or anything, but it is the fractor that you have to use as shapers at the moment. I think.
Yeah, this and propeller and stuff, and you will install it for cheaper. And if you want to play your funny jank, you can like knick-knack it out also.
Yeah, there is the classic like play 3 of these, install it for like nothing because you've got DZ, MZ, and some icebreakers out, and then you sell it for 4 and a card. It's like got weird numbers on it though. Like 2 strength is really awkward. Like I guess you're hopefully playing this along with some other, like Game Dragon or something like that. Otherwise, I feel this is worse than Pressure Spike. Like
for what
yeah, Pressure Spike is so bad though.
Like Pressure Spike is 1 strength, so on like anything that's 3 strength, this is the same. On anything that's 4 strength, this is the same. On 5 strength, it's also the same because Pressure Spike boosts awkwardly around that. And then if you get to 6 strength, they become equal again. And then at 7 strength, Pressure Spike maybe starts being better. But then what 7th strength barrier are you breaking?
The
tree line
stuff that you have hit by the new Egret.
Yeah, I mean, if like BTL is a real meta threat, maybe you don't play Principia, but like there has to be a lot of BTL for you to like pass up. It was actually a 3 credits less most of the time.
Yeah, like this is way closer to Corroder, and Corroder would be the best fractor right now. So
I guess I'm I just can't not look at the big 4 in the corner. Even though I know that this is going to be cheaper than
It's
4
not
to install.
4, brother.
I know it's not 4, but I
Precious Pack has
can't
4
not.
in the corner for
Yeah,
real,
yeah.
and you want to play that shit over this.
Yeah, because I think I'm breaking anything that's 6 strength or under with a slap vandal, and so like basically I don't really care until
You're
it gets
LARPing
over
if
6.
you like actually want to use the pressure spike. Like after threat, yeah, maybe, but like.
I mean, if you're breaking anything that's 7 strength or lower or 6 strength or lower, you might as well just sell this to Knick-Knack, and that's a better use of your deck slot than playing the thing.
Okay, so we're saying that this is better than Pressure Spike.
Which makes it a B tier or something, but still.
And worse than all the other fractors.
Pressure spike is like F.
I mean, I'll tell you what. There'll be a time where I do try this out and I'll install it for 0 and I'll think like that was hype. So yeah, we can stick it in B tier for now. Okay.
Say mean things, but never mind.
We have 2 cards left. Finally, we have a card that I've played. This is like one of the only cards out of the set which I have actual experience on and I can actually talk about. This is Knick-Knack O'Brien. This is our it's Aesops, but it's not Aesops. It's a 2-cost connection. It's 3 influence, and it says whenever the first time each turn a run begins, you may trash one of your other install cards. If you do, gain credits equal to its printed install cost and draw 1 card. Now, I'm going to say that some games where I've played with Knick-Knack has felt absolutely incredible and better than Aesops. Mainly games where I've been playing against asset spam type matchups, or ones which are certainly going at least a little bit wide, and ones where I have drawn at least 1 copy of Muse early in the game. In those particular circumstances, I cruised one game completely off Knick-Knack draw. I didn't play any other draw events. I don't think I even clicked to draw, and the Knick-Knack draw was enough to keep me going. It felt incredible. There have been other games where I've installed Knick-Knack, used it once to gain like 2 credits and a card, and then not had a good opportunity to ever want to use it again. It's definitely not an econ card in the same way that Aesops was. I think it's still really good in Arasana. I am unsure how good this is going to be in other runners that don't want to run every single turn.
This is way worse than Aesops. It's not close, I don't think. But I don't know how you build a Shaper deck that has econ that doesn't involve this. So it kind of just has to be an instant A tier, even though it's not that good of a card. Because you have to, like, if you're playing Shaper, you have to do this, or you don't have money.
Yeah, I don't think it's worse than Aesops. I think it's different than Aesops. And I think if you basically build your deck the same as you were building an Aesops deck, but you just swap Aesops for Knick-Knack, then yeah, it's not going to feel as strong because you need to adjust out some of your draw and adjust in some extra hard econ. Because realistically, you shouldn't need quite as much draw in your deck because you're also drawing off your Aesops trigger in inverted commas.
Shaper is also the faction with the best draw, so like.
The problem with this is that Aesops has a lot more targets. You're very happy trashing a telework that's on 1. You're very happy trashing like 0 cost things that you have on your board.
Yeah,
with like
Asmat, stuff like that.
With Coalescence specifically, this is like about as good as Aesops, as long as you're making runs. But in every other situation, it's much worse. You know?
Yeah, I mean that's it. It's like it's technically a bit of a faster card than Aesops. I think it's a more fun card for the game than Aesops was. Like Aesops really just allowed you to like, I'm going to sit here and do absolutely nothing until I Shaper and win. And this stops you doing that. This says like, no, you really have to like at least try and interact with me, or you're not going to kind of get your engine going. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like right now, Shaper Econ is really tied into environmental testing and coalescence. And if you're playing coalescence, then you probably should be playing knick-knack or spec work or some way of turning those coalescences into more econ. So yeah, is this just an A tier card because it's kind of got to be?
That's where I'm at.
Basically, yeah.
Has anyone tried this outside of Shaper yet? Because that's probably needs to be one of my first things to do. Because I really feel like
people have tried it in Criminal. I think Bass specifically.
Yeah, he seems like it'd be really good.
Interesting and fun. I don't think it's better than like just playing normal Criminal though.
Yeah, but playing normal Criminal's boring. So you've got to consider that aspect.
Yeah, if you like. Never mind.
Were you gonna say smoking weed?
Maybe something similar.
Yeah. But you just like to win, so stick with your boring, consistent decks. Okay, final card for tonight. Corp cards will be on Axu's stream at some time when Axu decides. People who are wondering, because otherwise we would be going all night. This is Side Hustle. This is it's not a daily casts. It's a 2-cost resource that's neutral, and it gains a credit each turn. When there's 6, you take them off and draw a card. I haven't seen this see much play, but then again, I haven't played many games. Are people playing this? Is this actually making it into decks?
I had it a bunch of my decks and then played with it a bunch and then took it out.
Yeah,
definitely. It's fine. It's not a D tier card, but it's not better than C tier.
I did go into the set thinking this card was going to be like really good. Just thinking about like it's basically your daily cast replacement, but it actually pays off way too slow. Like and even in Criminal, which is like the faction you typically just run a lot, it still ends up being kind of cringe when you kind of have to spend resources during the runs that you're just banking on this card like previously. Because you still have to play it often because it's a econ card in a times where econ cards are kind of low. So like Criminal probably still plays it, but yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, because I assumed that I was going to be like slotting these straight into Arasana, because I was like, wow, in Arasana I can install these for effectively 0. I'm going to be making runs all the time, so that seems great. And I've just not. I'm like, I think I'd rather play telework. Like, there's a lot of things I'd kind of rather do than this.
Yeah.
Nice more often has possibly had one of these shot when it's got 5 credits on it, which is just gonna feel horrendous, as in shot with above the law. That's gonna feel painful. Like, you're gonna get like 5 credits onto this, and then someone's gonna bounce it back to your hands with a working prototype, and you're just gonna want to give up the game forever, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting because I mean, at some point I'll put him in my Arasana deck to test them out and see what happens, but I've not seen any rumbling of this, and maybe that's correct because this is a neutral econ card. NSG have wanted to move away from neutral econ.
Yeah, why are you printing at that in that point anyway? Like, that's kind of like putting Smartware Distributor in a set, like basically a blank card that nobody will play, and like Yeah, it's there for like draft, I guess.
Well, I think it's there just so that you always have a little bit of econ, and it doesn't have to be the world's greatest econ, you know? Like, we played Armitage code busting for freaking years
Yeah,
if you didn't have
2012.
anything else.
Like, just put it daily cast in a corset and give it to me.
I mean, it's technically there, but it's just banned.
I know. It hurts.
Okay, so I mean, how bad is it? Is it just C tier, mid and disappointing, or is it D tier and unplayable? Because I don't think it's quite unplayable. But
Yeah,
maybe
it's
I'm
definitely
wrong.
playable. Like, it doesn't feel good, but like at some point you kind of just have to play it. So it's like definitely C tier.
Augustus, you happy
Yeah,
with it going in C?
I'm happy with C. I also got a bolt. I'll trust you all to do the sign off. It's been fun.
Thank you so much for joining. We have gone long as somewhat expected, but that was less arguing than I was expecting. Amazingly, I think we've go back and watch the hot takes on Cacophony and Bling if you want the real hotness. Actually, at some point we'll do the corpse side on yours. Any final thoughts from you before we sign off for the evening?
I think we will fight more on corpse sides. So people
I think you might be true. Yeah,
I think every single runner can just like kinda I think here.
Yeah, I
Except
think
like
I
the
think
criminal card or something.
it's a lot. It feels a lot flatter, like as in there's nothing on the runner side that feels really powerful. Like we've talked about how much sort of value and click compression we can get off Madani. There's like the potential that someone could crack something like Bling. How good Baz could potentially be, but none of these cards feel like they're gonna warp the meta. Apart from Cacophony,
Yeah,
it's
like all of the good cards are like just good solid cards that you like will play in your decks kind of mostly because you have to.
Warlock mostly agrees with this list and hates that fact, which is really funny.
I mean, I think the like list, other people's lists probably will look quite similar, I would assume. Like
I think there's a few cards that like obviously I think Bling is going to be in any freaking position which people want to put it in because it will be dependent on what they see from it. I think that probably the two biggest cards in terms of like where they'll fall will actually be Detente and Cacophony. In terms of the fact that these will either be cards, like we say, which kind of just don't do enough and they sit around in the kind of binder or people playing them at casual levels and at sort of with their fun decks, or someone's going to break them. Like these are probably the only two cards in this set. Maybe the console, but who knows? These are probably the only two cards in the set which have the potential to be like completely and utterly broken. As much as they probably aren't yet, but who knows? We'll have to see how incredibly wrong we are. One hot take from Warlock saying that Principia is too low, suggesting it should be an A tier or S tier card. I'm assuming A because otherwise that is quite a spicy take. Right. With that, we're going to sign off. Thanks everyone for joining us in the chat and agreeing and disagreeing, whichever side you fell on. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you're all enjoying the new cards. At some point, I'll get to play some more of them. With that, I've been Baran Wu. I've been joined by Axu, who's probably still here. Augustus, who's definitely not still here. And all of these takes are 100% agreed on by Warlock. So if you have issues, go and complain to him.